My girlfriend is convinced I'm cheating, so she keeps snooping on my phone. I can't take it anymore, so here's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to snoop on her phone. A little snoop for Snoop.
Yeah. You know, you got your Snoop cat and you got your Snoop dog.
Bow wow.
Bow wow. Chasing around the town. Also, this is from our beautiful r/OKOP show community on our subreddit.
Ow, ow.
All right, let's get into the story. For context, my girlfriend and I have been dating for a little more than a year. Ever since we started dating, she has always had insecurities about me cheating on her. As much as I understand her feelings, I sometimes get the same insecurities. It's starting to take a huge weight on our relationship. First of all, I got 2 phones, one for my girlfriend and one for my lover.
Okay, Kevin
No,
Gates.
just kidding. I have 2 phones. One that I use every day regularly and another one when I'm gaming. I play games like Minecraft and Stardew Valley, so I need 2 phones to search some stuff online about the games or to put music while I'm gaming so I don't kill my phone's battery. Damn, that's dedication, dude.
So he's a phone gamer.
He's a phone gamer.
Okay. Okay.
Bro, at least be a PC gamer or something, dude.
Yeah.
I never use a second phone for anything else. It's taking some dust on the side until I have time to game a little more. Second, I work in sales. That means I go on work trips once a month to promote different products. And I've noticed when I come back to our apartment that the second phone has been used for like 15 minutes on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, X, and Facebook Messenger.
It's almost just enough time to check someone's DMs on all those platforms.
For some nudies.
Ooh.
I confronted my girlfriend about it and she shared with me her insecurities. We talked it out and I thought I calmed down her stress and anxiety of me cheating when I'm away. Mind you, I am obsessed with this girl. She's everything I've looked for in my past relationships. Yes, we have our issues like any couple, but we have good communication when we need to. I never thought about cheating on her physically or even emotionally. It has never crossed my mind, even if I've got a few girls flirting with me on different occasions.
Okay, Mr. Big Man.
Big man. I always turned them down and said really clearly that I'm in a relationship with my girlfriend. Recently, I've noticed that my girlfriend has been going through my phone at least once a day to check my messages and exchanges with family, friends, and even customers. Mind you, my work field requires me to keep contact with potential customers and build a good relationship with them so they end up buying my products. I talk with them only for work, rarely on more personal topics. But the last straw, John, the last straw was this morning.
Oh, God.
I left for work as usual when I got to the office, and I noticed a notification from WhatsApp that said a code has been requested to log into a different phone, which meant my girlfriend tried to log into my WhatsApp account to check my messages again. If you don't know what WhatsApp is, you can only access it through one device at a time, not 2. So you need to log out from one to log into a second. And even for that, you need a password that will be sent to the first one to confirm the change.
Right.
It's really well protected. Again, I use WhatsApp to talk with customers and coworkers since a lot of them have phone numbers from different countries. Now, my patience with her insecurities has run its course. I messaged her saying that once I'm back home, I will change my second phone's password and I will turn off my location until she fully trusts me since nothing ever happened concerning cheating since we dated. She told me it stresses her out and will just feed her insecurities. So here's where I could be the asshole.
Okay.
I basically told her that after a year, it wasn't my responsibility to reassure her every day about her insecurities, and she needs to work on it by herself, which I think is true.
I mean, she does. It can't get to this point.
Yeah.
Like it cannot get to this level.
Yeah, I mean, like this is overstepping, I think, like the boyfriend girlfriend trust dynamic.
At a bare minimum, can't do the actions based on it.
I've tried everything to gain her trust and nothing ever works. So I give up. I'll change my passwords and turn off my location until further notice. She's calling me an asshole for being insensitive towards her feelings, and by changing passwords / turning off my location, it just shows her that she's right for doubting me since I have stuff to hide. Bro, you haven't found anything in like a year of searching. What does he have to hide?
And like deep intent, not just like, oh, like looking through his
she's
phone
been
when
deep
it's left.
perusing.
Deep.
Like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I told her that if she absolutely needs to know where I'm breathing my daily dose of oxygen and who I'm talking to so she ain't stressing out, she needs a dog, not a romantic relationship. Bam!
That's such a like hilarious
comeback. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
You need a dog.
You
not
need
a
a
boyfriend.
dog.
My
You
good.
snooping so much, you need a dog.
Oh goodness.
And that's a wrap, dude.
Wow.
So what do you think? Is OP right in saying that?
You know, I mean, yeah, there's like maybe better way of saying it. But yeah, essentially he's right. Like you can't let your insecurities, you can't just do anything you want and something that's harmful to the partner and trust of the relationship because of your insecurities.
Exactly.
Right?
There's a certain point where your insecurities are damaging the relationship. And I think they've reached that point.
And there's a level of also like letting go and trusting.
Yeah, that's what trust is.
Yeah.
Trust is, not knowing where your partner is all the time and trusting that they are going to be doing well by the relationship.
But what about tracking his every move?
That's true. What about air tags in everyone's shoes?
In his shoes, in his car, everywhere?
In his mouth?
In his
implanted in his penis?
Oh, God.
Yum. But that, I think, is the end of our double mega freaking episode. I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah.
My fiance stole my best friend's proposal idea, so I called him out on it. My boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 24 female, have been in a relationship for 2 years and just got engaged last week. The engagement itself was wonderful, but I couldn't help but notice how similar it was to a conversation I had with my best friend, 23 female, of over a decade. A conversation that happened many, many moons ago, in which she detailed exactly what she would do if she proposed to me, and it was very specific to my general likes and interests. And I mean specific. At the time, I told her that sounds perfect and hold on to that for later. It's pretty clear to me that he did approach her and she let him know about his plan. By the way, this comes from Lady Astrid in the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Submit your stories there. We're going to keep going to this story. So, after the day itself, I told my new fiance that it was cute that he asked her how I wanted to be proposed to, but I joked that he stole her entire, very detailed plan, so it was more her proposal than his. He went quiet and then got angry. Then it all came out.
Uh-oh.
So the friend was like, this is how I'm going to propose to you.
You gave me my bestie's proposal,
Yeah.
not your own proposal.
But I mean, if it's so good, if it sounds perfect,
How good was
if
it?
the shoe fits. He said that he always felt second place to my best friend, that I was only marrying him to satisfy my religious family, that I have been lying about my preferences, and that I'm probably having an affair with my friend. I was shocked. He's never expressed this to me before. Really quick.
That's a perfect time to just, release those thoughts. Not before.
Obviously, his response, not great.
No.
Not great.
No.
But question for you.
Yes.
If you proposed and did a bunch of research
Mm-hmm.
from like friends and family to see what would be the perfect proposal, and then after you propose, your girlfriend was like, that was more my friend's proposal than your proposal, how would you feel?
Terrible. Now, I feel like there's two very possible cases. There is one case where he did what you said, which is like he interviewed around, like asked all these people, and they're like, "Oh, we had this conversation, and like she literally broke it all down. I remember all the details. It'll be perfect because it's gonna be like what she's always dreamed. Like it's like how little girls always have a dream wedding. It'll be kind of like that." And I also see another scenario where what if it was like, oh, make sure to play baby
Yeah.
oh, because that's her favorite song, and she's like, what is this, you were so lazy, you didn't actually
Do the research.
get my up-to-date version or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe this is controversial, but I think he is a way bigger red flag than her, but I think there's a little bit of a red flag in saying like, this is my friend's proposal, not yours.
I think it depends on how she said that.
Yeah.
And yeah, the issue is the flare up. And also I'm curious about how long ago this conversation was.
It was 10 years ago. The conversation with her friend was 10 years ago. And I'm guessing that OP's boyfriend asked her friends, and their friends like, oh, perfect, we had this conversation. This is exactly how she would want to
And
get.
I'm sure he's
proposed
thinking,
to.
10 years ago. Or maybe he doesn't even know. Well, obviously, he probably doesn't know about the conversation that they had. And so he's like, oh, how do you think I should do it? And so the friend is probably like, oh, well, this is what you should do.
Yeah. I feel like it was probably, I don't know. I feel like it was.
It's not enough to get super upset about. It's just kind of like a bummer. It's like, oh, like this wasn't very personal. It could seem like a cop-out from OP's perspective. But now,
it kind of brings up a huge, like, it's kind of good that she said that, because now it brings up all of this pent-up aggression that I guess he was trying to hide.
Going from like, oh, you gave me the best friend's proposal to you're having an affair with the best friend.
Yeah.
What?
And to be clear, Duchess Cassandra says, you bring up another dude right after you're proposed to by your man's you. Her friend is a girl.
yes,
So
Correct.
23 female.
correct.
A dudette.
And what this guy is basically saying is, you haven't made your sexual preferences known to me. And he's basically, because he thinks that she's into her best friend.
Oh man.
So
One of
let's
those.
keep going.
Oh,
I think that there's a lot of juice in here. So I think we're going to have some twists and turns on this. I was shocked. He's never expressed this to me before. He's complained in the past I spend too much time with her, so I accommodated for his needs as best I could without losing my best friend, but I had no idea he thinks I'm having an affair. I tried to reassure him, but I thought it would be better to leave and told him he would talk about it later. We haven't been in contact, and though I haven't told my best friend about this, others in my life think he was completely valid for blowing up,
What?
and I need to do all I can to fix this relationship. Was I an a-hole for making that joke? So I think yes, but he was way more the a-hole for his response.
What was the joke?
yeah,
again?
well, joke. What?
Okay,
joke just
So the joke was, so he proposed, and it was basically this like very elaborate proposal, but it was a proposal that her friend and her had talked about 10 years ago. So basically her friend had a sit down conversation with her, with OP, and was like, if I was going to propose to you, this is what I would do. And like laid it all down. And then OP was like, that sounds perfect. Right. And then I'm guessing OP's boyfriend talked to her best friend and was like, hey, like, I need some advice on how you think like I should propose to her. You've known her for a long time. And she's like, oh, we actually had a conversation 10 years ago. This is how she would want to do it. He does this and recreates it. Then after he proposes, OP is like, hey, like, it's funny you did that, but you didn't really propose to me. My friend did.
Yeah.
That was the
yeah.
joke that she made.
Yeah.
yeah. I can understand that'd be tough to hear after you think you're doing something like, oh, like this is sweet. This is
Yeah.
what she would have wanted. But
Yeah.
you have an affair with your best friend. Like, whoa, where's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I
Crazy.
think that is a crazy response and not a good response. But I could, like, let's say if he was just like, oh, like, sorry, I was just trying to do something that was like thoughtful and I talked to your friend about it. If that was his response and not the terrible thing, then she would have been the a-hole.
Yeah.
She would have been the
that's
a-hole.
a good point.
But because of how terrible his response is and how
Yes.
like insecure it shows that him being, both of them are the a-hole, and his a-holery far exceeds
he
hers.
over a-holed her.
He out a-holed her. But
Yeah.
let's get into the relevant comments.
Let's do it.
So Kidden1412 says, info. So when you asked your best friend to hold onto her proposal idea for later, what were you expecting her to do besides hand it over to your boyfriend?
Oh.
Because, and another thing, they wrote this all out and she's like, hold it on for later. When you heard the idea, you were telling her that you wanted her to suggest it to a boyfriend? No? Like, no? Is that not what you wanted?
Yeah.
And if not, what did you want her to hold on to it for? What did you expect out of this situation? OP responds, just going to reply with a little more context. When I said hold it on till later, I meant that if I were to meet someone and they asked her for advice about how they could propose, they could use that. At the time, I had met my fiance, and I had not met my fiance, and we were teenagers.
So was it kind of what I was saying of like, oh, maybe it's like a really outdated thing and it feels like kind of like lazy or not what you wanted?
But potentially it's outdated, but the joke that she made wasn't that it was outdated. It was that basically her friend proposed to her and not
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. He's like, well, you love her so much, you have an affair with her.
Yeah. I think
I agree with this comment. But what happens after is different.
Yeah. I think if he responded in a different way, she would have been like only the a-hole, because how they responded, he's more of the a-hole. And
I also feel like that's not necessarily something you bring up with the person who proposes to you. Like, do you tell somebody like the fact that you think it was her idea? Like, I feel like you tell your best friend that, or you tell your mom that, or you tell. But like, if you like this person enough to get married, you don't like, man, well, I didn't like your proposal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think there's a weirdness to it. I don't think he's having a fair little silly's fangirl.
I think he is.
But like, we're gonna read some more.
Okay.
We're gonna read some more. Yeah, Dixie Blue Seal says, so she literally said what she wanted to happen. I'm confused by the whole thing.
Yeah.
She like, I don't know. I feel like it would have. I feel like he was trying to do something cute, and she kind of like pooped on him a little bit for it, and then he had a terrible reaction. But
I want to hear more.
Let's hear more. So, verdict from Reddit is a-hole.
Ooh.
Everyone thought a-hole. And the update. I would like to start by saying thank you to everyone who responded to this post. It put things into a better perspective for me. I apologize to my partner, not just for the joke, but for making him feel the way I did. I keep receiving messages asking for updates, so I just wanted to hop on and clarify a few things that I didn't want to talk about before. I was asked about my orientation. I identify as asexual, and my partner is straight. We had a great low intimacy relationship. I stayed loyal throughout our relationship. We discussed how this was going to work at length when we were first together and often talked about boundaries, so I didn't think this was a big problem. Turns out it was. Someone found this post and sent it to him. He found it funny enough to show to our mutual friends, but in doing that, he accidentally showed his own Reddit account.
Ooh.
After some digging, they saw he had a very different set of views to what I previously thought, and was involved in quite a few incelish posts in different communities. Apparently, he had suspicions for a while that I had been lying to him about my preferences and I was a lesbian, but he thought I would change my mind over time. This came as a total shock to me. A lot of people showed confusion over his behavior, including me. And now this information has come out. It makes more sense that he was letting go of grievances he had been holding on to for a while. Needless to say, our relationship is done, which is the right decision.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gave the ring back and offered to pay for the cost of the proposal, which he declined. I think it's ultimately for the best. And to you, because I'm sure you're going to read this, thank you for everything. I hope that we can both learn and grow from this separately. And I wish you all the best. There's a little bit more juice to squeeze. But also, you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. So come on over here. Before we end this really quick, I got like a couple more paragraphs. But with something that's like kind of weird about this story is if she wasn't a little bit of the a-hole, she may have gotten married to him. She may have never found out how terrible his beliefs were.
So we all learned, be an a-hole to your partner, and you will
when
be
it
better
counts
off for it.
the most.
When
Be
it
the
counts the
a-hole.
most.
That's right. Lay that a-hole down on the line.
This man is so stinky. But she like if she didn't say that like kind of a-holy
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
she would have never known.
Yeah. And you know, it kind of all makes sense because it kind of gives like the nice guy vibe of like, okay, like let me do all these things for her. And it's like, oh man, all women just hate the nice guys doing all this stuff. Which like, and also in total fairness, like I am more and more on the side of like I think that was like really, really not a cool move of her. Like after he, did all the work.
Yeah,
for the proposal,
I still don't think it was a good move of her. Like it was an a-hole move. Actually, no, I'm not gonna take it back. It was a great move of her, but it was an a-hole move.
It was an unintentionally great move. But an a-hole move for sure. Wow.
But we have a couple more paragraphs.
Okay.
So, As for whether I'm going to dramatically elope with my best friend, I doubt it. We're like sisters. She's been happily married to a lovely man for the last 3 years. We're just close, I guess. Anyway, thank you all again for your sometimes brutal honesty in this. All in all, things worked out for the best. And that is where this story and this...
I just got an email exposing my wife's affair. I don't know how to confront her.
Send her an email.
Would I be the a-hole for telling my wife to show me her phone after I got an email accusing her of cheating? I, male 47, have a comfortable and fulfilling life. I have a job I truly enjoy. I live in a nice suburb, and I am blessed with 3 wonderful children, 8 male, 6 female, and 4 female, and a lovely wife, Emily, 45. I've always felt Emily and I were an ideal match. However, a recent email I received has deeply unsettled me and planted a seed of doubt in my mind. By the way, this comes from Helpful Listen 1765 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So Emily lived in the UK between 2010 and 2015, during which time she pursued a PhD. Because she lived there so long, she pursued other things too. Because she lived there so long, she developed many close friendships and has made it a point to return every couple of years to maintain those ties. This past August, she traveled to the UK for 3 weeks to attend the wedding of one of her close friends. After some consideration, we agreed that it would be best for me and the children to remain at home, as I could not take that much time away from work, and the children were unlikely to find much enjoyment in such an event. Emily departed, returned as expected, and life returned to normal for us. Last week, I received an email on my work email address. It was supposedly from the wife of Emily's friend. I'll call him Jake, 44 male. According to this woman, she has a very strong reason to suspect that Jake and Emily engaged in an affair. Oh, a little British affair. She listed off her suspicions, noting Jake had picked Emily up from the airport, spent considerable time at her hotel, and how the two of them frequently went out to dinner alone. I don't think it's just friends.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
She even included pictures of my wife's earrings that she found in Jake's pockets when she was doing the laundry, and pictures of a lipstick stain on his shirt. This color is one I recognize as something Emily often wears.
Yeah.
She's like, this is Emily's signature shade. There is some other evidence she listed off. For the sake of conciseness, I will not include them here. All this was a lot to absorb, and for a while I thought it was some sort of joke, so I tried my best to ignore it, but it kept coming back into my mind. I remember that before her trip, my wife would talk to all her friends there. I don't know if this email is influencing my memory, but I think she probably spoke with Jake the most. Additionally, I know Emily never liked Jake's wife, though I can't say why. I never pried into Emily's phone or social media accounts before, but I feel very tempted to now. However, I know I'd feel terrible if I looked and found nothing. Also, if I start acting suspicious, wouldn't she just delete everything out of fear of being found out? I'm unsure of how to move forward and would welcome any guidance on handling this. The best I can currently come up with is asking to see her phone immediately after confronting her about it, so as not to give her now time to delete anything, though part of me thinks this would upset her and potentially not even show anything.
Well, if she doesn't show you anything, it kind of also proves, which is probably cheating. Seems like you have a lot of overwhelming evidence here.
I know. It's always like, if you have nothing to hide, then you're like, here, take my phone. Here's my password. Here's everything.
I think it would still probably damage the relationship, obviously, but...
Oh, yeah, because if the trust is already broken to the point where you want to look at someone's phone, then yeah. Would I be the a-hole for telling my wife to show me her phone after I got an email accusing her of cheating? I forgot to include, my wife no longer has these earrings. She wasn't wearing them when she returned, and when I asked, she said she lost them.
Lost them in his pocket.
A few hours after sharing my first post, I confronted Emily. She confirmed my fears. She claims she's in love with Jake and can't live a lie any longer. She still claims to love me and the kids, but says she can't stay with us any longer. That is terrible. I love you, but I love him more. Yeah, I need to leave. According to her, she was waiting for a better time to tell me and the children. Apparently, this has been going on since March, with Jake flying out here occasionally and Emily secretly meeting him.
Literally the plot of 4 Weddings and a Funeral. The whole thing is just them cheating the whole time. It made me so angry. I hate the cheating movies. Like, any movie that involves cheating as part of the romance plot. We're
getting divorced. Emily is moving to the UK soon. She confirmed that in August, in addition to the wedding, she attended a job interview and she's set to start around the new year. She's already applied for a British visa, and she plans to live with Jake when she moves. That is wild, to come back, confirm your cheating, be like, I am leaving you and the kids.
I'm leaving you. I'm getting my British citizenship eventually. I'm going to marry him.
Wow. I'd be heartbroken, especially as a kid, seeing my mom just up and leave to go move in with another man. As for custody, Emily is voluntarily surrendering her chance of full custody. She doesn't want to uproot the kids, so they'll stay here in Canada with me. There's a part of me that appreciates that decision, but there's also the part that is astonished at how easily she's walking away. She wants to pay child support, but I'd rather raise my children without her financial influence. That said, the court will likely insist on support, regardless of my feelings. Emily is also seeking structured visitation rights, which, given the circumstances, will likely be granted. Based on what I've been told, the court generally leans towards arrangements that allow both parents to maintain relationships with the children, even when one is relocating to a different country. The lawyers are still working out the details, but it seems like she'll have visitation during school breaks and holidays, with the possibility of virtual calls in between. I've been keeping things as amicable as possible, and the more cooperative I am, the more Emily seems to agree with my demands. We are also discussing the future of our home. Emily has expressed a desire to sell the property and divide the proceeds.
That's frustrating because that's like their children's home.
Yeah.
You're just taking that?
Again, like, how do you feel like you have a right over their home when you are literally turning their world upside down? While I am reluctant to part with the family home, it is unlikely I have much of a choice since it was bought during our marriage. For now, our lawyers are still working through the details, and no final decisions have been made. Given the situation, it could be a good while before we reach a resolution. In the meantime, I've been advised not to make any major financial moves. As much as I want to stay here with the children, I know selling is most likely inevitable. As of this writing, Emily is in an Airbnb, and Jake has flown here to stay with her. Jake, go away! They plan on traveling to the UK at some point in the near future. My lawyer tells me that adultery isn't grounds for special treatment when it comes to custody or property division. Therefore, it won't influence how assets are divided unless marital funds are directly involved. Emily likely used money from her personal account. Unless it can be proven she used our joint finances to fund the affair, it's unlikely this will make any difference in court. That's interesting. I have been in regular communication with Jake's soon-to-be ex-wife, Eleanor, primarily through email, and more recently, we've spoken over the phone a few times. Great plot twist if he and Eleanor get together, I just want to say.
Yes, do it.
Eleanor apologized, saying she felt guilty for telling me about the affair. No, yeah, come on. Otherwise, OP would be living a life forever, and worried that if she hadn't, maybe my marriage could have been salvaged. I reassured her that for me, the gravity of the situation made divorce inevitable, and I'd rather not remain in the dark about something of this significance. She even sent me messages and other evidence of their relationship, but since Emily is openly admitting to the affair, it doesn't really matter in the context of the law. Eleanor has also told me a lot about Jake. Apparently, this is the third time he's cheated on her, and she's had enough.
Yeah, don't take it.
Third time's a charm. There's no chance of reconciliation this time, she says, and he doesn't seem interested in trying.
No, I mean, it seems like he's moving in with freaking Emily.
Yeah, he doesn't care. She mentioned that Jake has zero desire to raise children who are not biologically his, which explains why Emily's not fighting for custody. Eleanor's divorce will most likely be much longer and more drawn out than mine, given that both her and Jake want full custody of their children and can't agree on several other issues. I haven't had much time to process everything. These past 2 weeks have felt like a blur in every way. But one thing I can say with certainty is that I have nothing left for Emily. Not because she betrayed our marriage, but because of how easily she's walking away from our children. I never thought I could hate someone I once loved so much. Ooh, it's a strange feeling. That really got me. The hardest part in all of this is the children. My 2 youngest daughters have started asking why their mother isn't around as much anymore, and it's been very difficult trying to communicate with them about the nature of the situation. My eldest seems to understand a little more, and as a result, he has become quiet and withdrawn. I'm fortunate to have a family that has been incredibly supportive so far. My children have received numerous thoughtful letters from some of their cousins, which I've been reading to them each night. All my siblings have also sent gifts for the kids, and one of my brothers, along with his wife, drove up to visit over the past weekend. My sister-in-law even prepared plenty of food, some of which is still in the freezer. They also kept the children entertained while I met with my lawyer. This is a great family, yeah. My other siblings have also offered to come by and look after the kids whenever I need them. And we actually need you guys. Every weekday at 3 p.m., you can join us live on YouTube. Just tap our profile.
Let's chat about this. I think it seems like they're doing all of the right steps. OP is not staying with, I mean, it doesn't seem like Emily wants to stay with him anyway. Sucks that you might not be able to get the house.
That really sucks. I feel like Emily's being very selfish.
Very selfish. Like, she's like, oh, well, you can have the kids, so, you know, I don't want to disrupt their life. I don't think it's that she cares about disrupting their life because she's already disrupted it.
You're not going to live in close proximity to them. You're leaving them for another man. You're not going to be in their life. You don't want custody, like full custody. And you are trying to uproot them out of the only home they've ever known.
No, she doesn't care about the kids. She just wants to like start this fun new life in the UK, and she doesn't want to have to take her kids with her.
Beyond that, my parents have been calling daily to check in on us, and my 78-year-old mother has already made plans to stay with us for 2 weeks in November to help around the house. The collective effort of my family has made this experience much more bearable, and I'm deeply grateful for all their support. To everyone who encouraged me to speak with Emily after my last post, I'm grateful. I was tempted to ignore Eleanor's message, but it kept gnawing at me. Your advice gave me the courage to act. Emily has shown herself to be a liar, and I have no doubt that her idea of a better time was simply when it would cause the least inconvenience for her and Jake. Yeah, I'm sorry, OP. You're going through it, but you're doing a great job, and it seems like you care about the kids. You're creating a warm environment for them to transition through this.
I think it's just like letting them know that they're loved and they've got a whole huge support system, because it's going to be obviously like so hard for you. It's going to be really tough for them too.
Yeah.
That's the end of that story.
I caught my boyfriend cheating on me, and I can't stop bringing it up.
Hey, babe, remember that one time you cheated on me?
Oh, I didn't cheat on you. I didn't cheat on
Yeah,
you.
you did. Watch this.
No, don't bring it up anymore, please. I, 24 female, have been with my boyfriend, 26 male, for more than 4 years now.
Nice.
I'm still a full-time student, and he works as a software engineer. I live with my family, and even though my boyfriend has separate accommodations of his own, he spends almost all his waking hours at our place, except for when he's at work. He stays busy almost all day with his work, and then tutors some kids in the evening. So he's very busy. By the way, this comes from user Impossible Resort 882 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So throughout the years, I've caught him texting other girls a number of times. Already a big red flag. They exchanged intimate conversations and photos. A few times it was his ex who cheated on him. Each time we talked about it, and then I let it go. I let it go because it was all online and thought these were just temporary flings he had when he got bored.
But there are real people behind those screens.
Those are real messages and real feelings.
Unless they're the hot moms that are always 2 miles away from you. Then those might not be the actual hot moms.
That's just another dude. I'm not ugly. I just have very plain features. Oh, OP.
No, don't do this. Stop.
Oh,
Stop.
Come on. Nothing attractive. My body's a bit messed up because of a few surgeries I've had when I was a kid. My boyfriend has never had any issues with how I look or my scars. But the girls he's texted were very good looking with near perfect bodies. So I let it go, thinking that maybe he needed a break from all the not so normal body of mine.
He can let you go and do that, but you don't need to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's you.
Girl, that's so sad.
This is like two double negatives. Two wrongs do not make a right.
Yeah,
here.
number one, got to get that confidence up, girl.
Gotta raise that.
It's Brat summer. It's Brat winter, bro. We got to get it up.
Up. Only look up. But as he grew busy, he started giving less attention to me. For nearly a year, we had very frequent arguments, and we stayed angry at each other quite often. Then this girl came into our lives to mess everything up. Let's call her Bad.
Nice.
This is the first time I like this. Bad and my boyfriend used to work out in the same gym.
Oh no.
My boyfriend is a very, very handsome man. Unlike me, he's very attractive with a great bodybuilder physique. We gotta stop. I don't like reading this. So, Bad fell in love with him. She started following him everywhere and got a place to stay near his place, made friends with his friends. She was everywhere around him. She got his number from his friends and started to call and text him. I never knew about this until one day I received a text from an unknown number saying that Bad and my boyfriend were in a separate relationship and that they were sleeping with each other. Oh my gosh. My boyfriend was at work and I called him immediately to come home and explain. He came home and explained how things were. He said everything was a lie and that he never had any relationship with her and never slept with her. She was creating a constant disturbance in his life even though he made it clear to her that he was in a relationship.
Okay, well then stop talking to her. If it's messing up your relationship.
Stop working out with her. That's no longer your gym buddy.
Yeah, go find a new gym buddy.
That was the truth. He showed me all the conversations they had, and he was telling the truth. He never told me anything to keep me away from the ugliness. So even though I was disturbed and hurt, I understood and let that go too. But we kind of became worse. He got busier and I became a total attention freak. I never talked too much, but now I wanted to. I had so much going on in my mind and he was the only one I had to talk to, so I wanted and demanded all his attention. I have never had any friends because I don't talk. Even my phone holds only 80 contacts so far. That's still 80. That's 80 contacts, girl.
Oh my gosh.
So you have your boyfriend -1. You have 79 people you can talk to. So my boyfriend and I planned a trip together. We went to an adventure course to the Himalayas and enjoyed our time there.
All right.
Most of the other people in the course were kids, 14 to 18, only a few proper adults. Strangely, kids are easier to make friends with, so I got really close with a 14-year-old girl who was my roommate, and my boyfriend made friends with 2 other boys, 18 and 19.
Cute.
All of us stayed glued together till the trip was over, about 2 weeks. After we were back home, the 18-year-old boy from the group started contacting me. At first, it was the "how are you" and "how was your date" kind of things. Then as we talked, it felt good. It felt good to have someone to talk to. I started oversharing with this boy, and strangely, he was mature and thoughtful with the conversations.
Okay, I get that he's 18, but
What are you doing?
we should be talking while we're in a relationship.
Especially some intimate stuff.
Yeah.
I craved this from my boyfriend. That's the point where I got distracted by the attention I was getting from somewhere else. I grew closer and closer to the boy and became emotionally dependent on him.
Oh no.
Oh no. And I wanted to talk to him more and more. And I felt that he understood me so well. Then one day he said that if I had been single, he'd totally date me, even though I was way older. Yeah, we knew what the boy was doing. And at that point, everything that was civil up until now went feral. I thought if I didn't entertain him, he'd stop talking to me and not give me his attention. So I started flirting with him. What is this story?
Yeah, dude, I'm confused too. What's going on here?
Who's cheating on who here?
Yeah, why are we doing this to ourselves?
Then my boyfriend caught on. It was shameful. I knew way before what I was doing was wrong, but now it hurt to see my boyfriend hurt. He thought I betrayed him, which I did. I obviously did. I shouldn't have enjoyed anyone else's attention. I apologized for everything and stopped contacting the boy. Time went by and everything got normal again. My boyfriend cut down on his tutoring and had started to spend more time with me.
Okay.
Everything was going absolutely wonderful.
So this made your relationship stronger.
I guess. It made the boys into men in some ways here. Until one day, when I was using his phone, I came across a folder that had explicit photos of him and Bad doing it.
Oh boy. Wow.
And all the dates that they went together. He had photos of her sleeping in his apartment, and he even went to meet with her parents at her home.
Oh boy.
My world came crashing. I again called him to come to my place from work, and he came. He didn't talk for long when I told him what I had found. Then he apologized, saying that it was a mistake. He told me this would never happen again, that he would be with me forever, listen to me always, and marry me in the future. But you know what you can do with us in the future?
What?
Joining us live, 3 p.m. PST, every weekday. Just tap our profile.
Why are we doing this to ourselves, girl? Okay, I understand you think this is probably the best person you can ever be with in your life.
I want to scream into like a pillow right now because this is so dumb.
And well, her confidence is down.
No, I know her confidence is down, but like it's like you wanted attention from another boy, so you were cheating. You knew your boyfriend was cheating. You saw all the red flags from the very beginning of the story. This is just such a messy mess that should have just like end the relationship.
Oh yeah, way long ago.
I know the confidence thing is a big thing, but you can do that and work on yourself. You don't need a man to like make you feel confident, especially when he's not giving you what you want.
Yeah.
Oh, this makes me so frustrated.
Everyone break up with each other.
Break up. You both are not good for each other.
Everyone break up.
I mean, obviously the boyfriend cheated and manipulated her, and he's the a-hole. But again, OP is no saint here.
Oh no.
You saw the red flags that were immediately in your face. You believed your boyfriend who was manipulating you, and then you were cheating on him with this boy that you went on a trip to with the Himalayas. All bad. This is all bad.
Yikes.
I was confused for a while whether to stay with him or break it off. Why are you saying that? You already know. I had all my firsts with him, from my first kiss to the first guy I brought home to the first person I slept with. I didn't want to do all these with anyone else, so I stayed.
Dang. That's tough.
It had been more than a year now since, but it still bothers me. I still don't understand why he did that. He never told me why he did that. Instead, he just said it was a mistake. It still bothers me that he could do that to me. When I made a mistake with the boy, my boyfriend forgave me and he never brought it up since then. But I tend to bring up his cheating on me sometimes when we argue. Am I the a-hole for doing this? Just break up.
Yeah,
You're both a-holes.
You guys are both developing toxic like relationship stuff, and you need to break it by.
I know.
You gotta end it.
I know it's very hard because this guy is like your first for everything, but you know these are all blatant red flags that are not good for you.
Yeah.
This is not healthy at all.
No.
And the fact that you get like you hold this over his head as like a little like you have to stay with me now, but you cheated on me, so. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? That's just the fact that you're saying that out loud. You cheated on me. So, like, we're in an argument. I get to use this against you.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
This is all bad.
Oh, 100%.
Boyfriend's a-hole. OP, I think you just need to get out of this. I know.
Work on your confidence, girl.
Work on the confidence. Work on yourself. You deserve way better. You will find someone who's better for you and will give you all the attention you deserve and all the love you deserve and won't manipulate you and lie to you.
My wife cheated on me because I have insomnia.
He's just a little sleepy.
My first wife's name is Amy. We met in college. We met approximately 30 years before the age of cell phones. It was love at first sight. We got married once we graduated. Life with Amy was great for the first 2 years of marriage. We were making approximately the same amount of money and we were doing okay financially. By the way, this comes from Diligent Web 4219 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So after about 2 years of marriage, I started to get fatigued. When I say fatigued, I mean I was tired all the time. I was not sleeping the best at night. Our alone time, to say it nicely, decreased. I had no energy for alone time with Amy. Then I started to put on weight. I never ate excessively. Amy pressured me into making an appointment with my doctor. At first I resisted, but eventually called my doctor. Of course, by the time I called my doctor, I had to wait a little over 3 months since my doctor was taking a month-long vacation. As our alone time was decreasing, Amy was getting very frustrated. We started arguing about the little things as well. I had no energy to argue, which infuriated Amy even more. I was using the little energy I had for my job, but I did not want to lose my job. It was about a week away from my doctor's appointment. My employer approached me. My employer handed me some forms to take to my doctor so I could go on leave. I did not want to go on leave, but I understood what my employer was thinking. I knew my performance was decreasing. Finally, the day of the doctor's appointment arrived. This made Amy happy. I told my doctor everything. The doctor filled out the forms so I could go on leave. The doctor thought I had chronic fatigue, but ordered a sleep study to be sure. I was given sleeping pills. I was not sure how long I would be on leave. I knew chronic fatigue was not good, but my only hope was something might turn up in the sleep study. When I told Amy everything the doctor told me, all she said is hopefully the sleeping pills will work. The sleeping pills did not work. I could not sleep more than an hour at a time before and after the sleeping pills.
Oh, man.
Amy was getting furious with me, and we had many arguments. Amy wanted alone time with me, but I could not deliver. We waited and waited for the sleep clinic to call since my doctor's office sent in a referral. Then one day, Amy came home later than usual. She seemed so relaxed. I wondered what happened, but was too tired to care. I was happy there was no fighting. Then Amy started coming home late more often. This is when I first suspected something was going on. I decided to watch Amy when it was her normal time to leave the office. I saw her leave with a male coworker. I followed them to his place.
Stalking.
I was devastated. We took vows to be faithful to one another, and both of us stated in our vows in sickness and in health. The next day, I called my lawyer's office and made an appointment. At the appointment, I was told that since we made the same amount of money and lived in an apartment, we would split everything evenly. I would have to pay my share of the apartment until the lease ran out, which was about 5 months away. When I moved into the spare bedroom, I wanted to stay in the apartment since I had to pay my share of the lease anyways. I also wanted to wait for the call from the sleep clinic. Once I had the divorce paper in hand, I confronted Amy. She went ballistic on me. She did not want to get divorced. She said this guy was temporary until my health issues were dealt with. I told her this was not acceptable. I told her that if she had a health issue which decreased our alone time, I would wait. She tried fighting the divorce, but my mind was made up. I had to plan to move back into my parents once the lease ended. Luckily, I received a call from the sleep clinic about a month before I was moving in with my parents. I had to wait another 4 months for my appointment. When I stayed with my parents, I never went out. I was dealing with the issue of Amy cheating on me, and I was too tired to go out. The day of the sleep clinic arrived. I tried to sleep as best I could, but I was literally wired up. I looked like someone from a space movie. I did not sleep much. but I must have slept enough. The sleep doctor went over the results with me, and turns out I have sleep apnea. Once I started sleeping with the CPAP machine, my energy returned. I was my old self again.
Amazing. Look at that.
I-
And then she's going to be like, oh, cool.
Oh, we can start.
Cool. So
yeah.
I'm going to drop that guy maybe. And then I'll
Let's just
we
start
can
having
be
a little
intimate
time.
again. Oh my goodness.
Oh, she could have at least been like, can we open our marriage? That's the least she could have done.
Could like say that. I don't know. That's still tricky though.
If you need that and you didn't want to
Yeah.
end it, you could have at least done that.
Well, I just wonder what kind of conversations, and there is more to this story, but I just wonder like what kind of conversations they've had at all about this, you know? Because like obviously OP is like, hey, like I can't do this, but I don't know if that's being communicated to Amy. You know what I mean? And I don't know if Amy's like, hey, like I want some, you know what I mean? And then she's like, hey, if you can't deliver, man, I'm just gonna find someone else. You know what I mean? Like that obviously would be a tough conversation. You probably wouldn't want to communicate that, at least not in that way, but there's definitely some sort of communication that they're lacking in this situation. For
absolutely.
sure.
I went back to work and my employer noticed how much my performance had improved.
Yay.
I started going out again with my friends. Life was good, but I was missing having that special someone in my life. Then I saw Bianca on one of my morning runs. She was so beautiful. I immediately went over to her. We started talking. We ended up going out and eventually got married.
What?
We've been married over 20 years.
What? Oh my gosh.
A few years ago, Bianca got some bad news.
Uh-oh.
She had breast cancer. Thankfully, they caught it early enough so she beat it.
Oh,
But
good.
it did take some time for all of this to happen. When I was going on, we never had any alone time. Once Bianca was cancer-free, we started having alone time again. After the divorce with Amy, I decided to have no contact with Amy. I did run into her at a mall a few years after our divorce. She was so shocked to see how good I looked and my energy had returned. I told Amy about sleep apnea. She then apologized. Her apology was genuine, so I accepted her apology. Amy wanted to get back together. I gently told Amy I was seeing someone and we were getting serious. This was true as I was thinking about asking Bianca to marry me. Anyways, there was no way I would ever be with Amy again. My opinion of Amy is that she is not a bad person. She made a selfish decision which was a deal breaker in our relationship. Once a cheater, always a cheater. At least this is my opinion. Since I was curious, I asked Amy why she did not have someone in her life. Amy said any guy worth going out with does not want to go out with her due to her reputation as a cheater.
Dang, look at that.
Ooh.
That'll do it.
Amy added she is considering asking for a transfer to start over. I wished Amy well and never saw her again. Originally, I thought about getting revenge on Amy and her coworker. The more I thought about this, the more I thought the best revenge would be is for me to live a happy life. Bianca at my side for over 20 years to date, I am happy. My happiness is the best revenge of all. I did have a friend of mine whose wife cheated on him, my friend David, and wanted my advice since my spouse cheated on me. I told David he has an important decision to make as either his spouse will be in his life or will not be in his life. It is an important decision either way to stay or to go. I also told David this is where you put your happiness first and do not worry about getting revenge. David chose to stay. David told his wife she must cut ties with her friend who convinced her to cheat, and she had to admit to her cheating to her parents and their children. She did all of this as she realized she made a mistake and loved David. David told me a few years after this all happened, if he did not have children, he does not know if he would have stayed or not. This happened about 10 years ago. Their children are now out of their house. Since they are still together, it has worked out for my friend. From time to time, David talks about the time his wife cheated on him. He will never forget. David explained that he had to learn how to trust his wife again. Honestly, I do not know how he does it. It shows me that everyone is different, as I could never stay with anyone who cheated on me. I recently started to think about all the people I know who have cheated on their spouses. In my list, more men have cheated than women. I realized when making this list, both men and women cheat. I am glad I do not associate with any of these people on this list. I do not see David as much as I did when we were younger, but when we do, it is for a game of cards, of which is just for the guys. By the way, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or guy or whatever you are. You can come join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok at 3 p.m.
I don't think I'd be able to be with someone if they cheated. I think I would be with OP. I like that OP is saying, like, you know, don't get revenge. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Just focus on yourself,
Yeah,
which
oh,
I
yeah.
think is I think is right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do think the level of complexity David had to go through, his wife, he had kids with his wife. That does add at such a big
That is hard.
level. And OP didn't have to go through that.
That is hard. I think my thought process with it is like, I don't want my kids to see that like my partner cheated on me and then we're still fine and dandy, and then for them to like think it's okay in the future for their partners to cheat on them or for them to cheat on their partners.
Yeah,
You know what I
lead
mean?
by example.
Yeah, because I read a story with Sophia just a second ago where it was like the son cheated and the dad also cheated, it turned out, and so it was like
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
right, and so I wouldn't want that to be my kids.
In my opinion, people who cheat are weak and or selfish. I know in my case, I have had opportunities to cheat on Bianca. Whenever I get tempted, I think about how I was hurt. I do not want Bianca ever to experience that kind of hurt. Also, I've realized Bianca can give me many years of happiness while the other people would only give me one night of happiness. Basically, what I'm saying is do not cheat.
Yep.
Never cheat. Why be in a relationship if you want someone else, even if it's only for a night? If you are cheated on, do not worry about revenge. Your happiness is the best revenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Well, honestly, that was the best revenge story I've probably ever heard or read.
It's getting the best kind of revenge.
Yeah,
like he said.
And the way he went about it and kind of, still forgave that person and still moved on.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's impressive.
But that's the end of that story.
My girlfriend cheated with the man she babysat for. Now she wants to get back together.
With the babysitter, dude? That's the cliche thing of all time, bro.
At least be creative with it. Come on.
Yeah.
At the time, I was 23 male and my girlfriend, 20 female, we were together for 3 years, close to 4 years, and we have a son together. Our relationship was great. We never argued and got along great and never had any major issues throughout our relationship. By the way, this comes from Killer SJ27, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I worked hard to afford our home and tried my best to make it to where she didn't have to worry about anything, just our son. She loved being a stay-at-home mom, and so did I. It all started with her wanting to work and make her own money, which I was all for because the stress my job made on me, plus worrying about bills and food on the table, would help me a lot. She wanted to babysit even if it was only getting around $100 or so a week. Something is better than nothing. Take note, I reassured her that she didn't have to, as I was doing fine taking care of it on my own. Granted, we didn't have much free money, but the bills were paid and there was food on the table, which is what really matters. She understood and told me that she would feel a lot better to help me out and feel like she would be contributing more to our household. I reassured her that she was doing more than enough by taking care of our son and for the most part kept the house clean as she could even with having a 2-year-old around. That being said, we agreed for her to get a babysitting job, and she did get a job rather quickly, actually, and she met this guy with 2 daughters that needed a sitter Monday through Friday around 8 to 4 with making at least $300 a week. I said it sounds good.
Wait, $300 a week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 is highway robbery.
A week goes by and he starts to compliment her on how well she's doing with his girls and that they really like her, and also starts to crush on her. At this point, I did not know that he was crushing on her, as I usually work a night shift around 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, she did let me know that he was crushing on her after I got home that night, and I asked her if she let him know to stop, and she told me yes. So I wasn't too worried about it because I trusted her, and she always let me know about these types of things. I'm not the type to search my significant other's phone because it shows signs of distrust between couples. Now, her, on the other hand, always searched through mine, but I really didn't think much of it because I had nothing to hide.
Well,
that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Red flag, and you should think that that's projection.
Another week goes by, and he compliments her more and crushes on her again, and my girlfriend shows me the text. At this point, she hasn't responded to him, and I asked her again if she asked him to stop and to reassure him that you are already taken. On top of this, I am aggravated at the guy because he hasn't paid my girlfriend for babysitting at all, and it's been 2 weeks, and I've been paying for food for 2 more kids in my household that are not even mine.
Wait a minute. What? The kids are in your house and you're feeding them? What is going on?
That's crazy.
Okay, so first of all, buddy, she's probably been cheating on this guy since before the babysitting job happened and after the cheating had been going on.
Yeah.
Now he's like, hey, do you mind taking care of my kids during the day since
Right.
we're like literally boning each other?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I wonder why he hasn't been paying her. He keeps making BS stories, and I wasn't liking it at all. So another week goes by, and he finally pays her, and we are beyond hurting for groceries. So I tell her that that's awesome. Now let's go get some groceries. Also, would like to note that he did not pay her the full amount owed, only $300 when he owes her $900. And I get that life situations can't help that sometimes, so I was lenient towards it.
buddy, you're being too much of an angel here. You
Yeah.
get that life situations apply. No, if the life situation is you can't afford a babysitter,
Exactly.
you don't get a babysitter.
Right. You can't, like, this is your employer. You can't be like, oh, yeah, don't worry, I'll work for you for free, employer. Like, they have to pay you. That's the deal. So we go to get in the truck for grocery shopping. Then the two girls she's babysitting said that they don't want to go and would rather go to the pool instead. We have a big town pool that costs $20 to get into for all of us, and my girlfriend says that we can go to the pool, then go get groceries afterwards. At this point, I said, no, pool is secondary. We can go get groceries, and then if we have the money, we can go to the pool afterwards. She then starts to argue with me and defend the girls about wanting to go to the pool. So we don't need to eat. We just got to swim around. So we get into a heated small argument that ended with me driving off with our son, and I took him to see my mother and get my mind off of the argument. I told my mom what happened, and she went and had a few words with my girlfriend, and I guess that got heated as well. I don't know what was happening or why she was acting this way, but I wasn't liking it. Granted, my mother should have never gotten involved. I never meant to get her involved, but she was the only person I had at that moment to vent to. My sister went and talked to her as well and calmed everyone down and offered to have a girls' night out with her. I thought it was a good idea because then me and my son could get some time together.
Honestly, though, I think your mom did need to get involved because it sounds like nobody here in this story so far is mature enough to realize like how bad your situation is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I go to pick them up later that night, and she is wasted pretty bad, actually. I carry her inside and take care of her while she pukes and everything before laying her down in bed. I see a text on her phone from the man she's babysitting for saying, "Good night, beautiful." Uh-oh. At this point, I'm confused because she told me that he wasn't crushing on her anymore or didn't even compliment her. So I checked the messages, and what I read, my heart shattered. I instantly felt rage. I didn't know what to do. I just sat at my kitchen table for a long hour staring at my wall. So I called her stepfather and explained the situation. He calmed me down and told me to not do anything stupid that I will regret.
Yes,
Yeah.
facts. Do not do anything. Calm. Calm is the best way to approach these situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I went around the house and grabbed a few things I bought for her and broke them outside. Nice.
Okay.
Then I grabbed my son and left to a friend's house that had a spare room for me and my son. If you want me to keep going with this story, let me know in the comments and any questions that you have. And obviously people commented because there is an update. We get an update. Shall
Yes.
we roll into it? Do you have any final thoughts?
My thought would be like, look, like, yeah, just like once you have the truth, it's like, all right, now you're informed. Being like it's super upset and angry and loud and crazy about it's not going to help you. I kind of like I would assume maybe calmly
Yeah.
taking calmly taking the objects that you had bought for your cheating wife and
Right, just
smashing them outside
yeah. I mean, you
away
bought
from
'em?
anybody, not as a threat,
Yes.
just as a release for yourself.
yes.
I can get
absolutely.
behind that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it can move with calmly, but not like listfully, like calmly with purpose. It's like, all right, time to change my entire life.
We're gonna get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X is. Well, let's get back to the story.
The messages I had seen on my girlfriend's phone were pretty bad. She was spicy texting this guy whom she was babysitting for, and I also read messages of them both talking about me in a bad way. This was going on for about 2 weeks. Every morning and night, they would start the day off calling each other beautiful, handsome, schmexy, etc. This happens around Father's Day, which hurt as well.
Wow,
Ouch! I read messages that also were talking about when I went to work and when I was coming home, etc. I didn't sleep at all that night, and I went back and talked to her the next morning. She asked me if I wanted to be over. I said, yes, definitely, and we need to figure out a way to get you back with your family. Her family stayed across the U.S., so we would have to buy plane tickets.
What the heck is we? This guy is just a sweetheart, and I'm so sorry that you ended up in this situation, but man, I understand having like a little empathy because she's the mother of your child, but she like you said, she did this she's cheating on you on Father's Day.
We continued our conversation, and she tried to point out that my family members cheated on people and that not all relationships are 100% loyal. Seemed like she was trying to find reasons to justify her wrongdoings without feeling so guilty about it. Want to hear the kicker? She never apologized for doing it. Wow. She was just making excuses. So I told her I wanted to be over, and I was done. We sat on the couch and talked a while longer. I eventually gave in and said that I can try to work through it. No. That's not the right answer, OP.
I would like to scream at the top of my lungs.
The only thing I was thinking about at that moment was my son. I wanted to be there for him, and if I had split up with my girlfriend at the time, she would have moved back to her family, and I wouldn't be able to see my son that much. What? She would take the son?
I'm pretty sure you could argue for full custody there.
Yeah.
She's fully unemployed.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any income. You're the only one keeping the finances afloat in any way.
Yeah.
She's being infidelitous in the relationship.
Absolutely.
No, I'm pretty sure that you could, if not full, you could get like most of the custody.
Right.
Like she could come and visit.
Right. So a month goes by, and the situation is not good. I tried really hard to get along with her, but every chance I got, I would argue and throw the cheating BS in her face.
Correct.
I could never look at her the same again, and she seemed to not understand that. At this point, I'm done. I don't want to be with her anymore, and I also didn't want my son to see an unhealthy relationship between his parents. So I chose to break it off, and we will try to co-parent the best we can for our son's sake. She finally apologized and says that she knows she messed up and wants me to give her a second chance to earn my trust back.
Nope. No.
It's done.
No.
Too little, too late, my guy.
You have to understand that she is now just saying this because she's like, is this the right combination of words for me to get what I want?
Yeah, exactly. I told her, no, some mistakes have consequences you can't fix. I explained to her how I felt and how we should move forward. And at that moment, she said that she didn't need me and that I was the one throwing away a 4-year relationship by taking the easy way out and leaving. Another few months goes by, and she keeps asking me if there was any chance of us getting back together. I told her, honestly, I didn't know because you never know in life sometimes, but I said not likely.
Homie really said never say never. But come on, dude.
Come on. She continues to ask me this multiple times, and I give her that same answer every time. She continued to send me relationship quotes and forgiveness quotes for months. Ugh. I asked her to stop multiple times nicely, but she continued anyways, also sending me with love and miss you almost every day, even continues to now over a year later.
Hey, buddy, I have got advice for you. Have you heard of the block function?
There you go.
Have you heard about blocking?
Yeah.
You can block those.
Yeah, but the co-parenting thing makes it so complicated. I have told her multiple times the only reason we should be talking is if it has to do with my son. There you go. But she continues to do it anyways to this day. I'm doing good now. I've got a good job. I'm working on myself and bettering myself by working out and getting a bit more fit. I talk to my son at least once a week, and I get him for the summers, which is exciting.
Wow.
I'm talking to a girl right now, and we have went on a few casual dates. She's absolutely beautiful, and I'm really starting to like her. I don't plan on telling my ex about the girl because, honestly, it's none of her business. The only time we should ever contact each other is about my son and nothing more. Once my boy gets old enough to have his own phone, we will no longer need to contact one another. By the way, you can always contact us through the comment section of full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever you so choose, and search up OK Storytime. And we got you. We'll be there for you. But there is a little bit more. I'm just going to jump right into it. I do want to add that I still think that she seems to think that we are getting back together, which I did tell her recently it wasn't going to happen. She still continues to send me I love you messages, and all the photos she sends me of my son are both of them posing together. I ignore her a lot, and when I do answer, they're very short. I can't just straight up block her because she's my main contact to my son, so I'm kind of in a standstill. Just curious about any suggestions going forward. I don't want to fight for custody because she was a stay-at-home mom for 3 years, and she's a great mom. She has never once threatened to keep him from me, and I don't believe that she ever would. But I also thought that she wouldn't cheat too.
That's right, buddy. I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I was like, you're like, she's a great mom. I'm like, is she? You don't seem like a great judge of character. I'm just putting that out there.
Or she just seems to lie about lots of things.
Yeah, and now the fact that you're not there,
yeah,
you probably really don't have any idea on the quality of her motherhood.
I saw a lot of these stories and was very intrigued by them, so I thought I would share mine. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for reading. I know it's a lot. Sorry for the cliffhanger on the first post, and that is it.
And we forgive you, OP.
Of course, of course.
But it's just like so frustrating and like disrespectful, and also like I can't imagine like constantly trying to be like, I love you, we're gonna get back together, with someone who was like explicitly like, we are not. It's not happening.
Right.
Like that is, I feel like it shows like a state of mind that like, I don't know, like, are you like mentally well enough to like continue to be a good dad?
Yeah. Maybe you can, I hope you have a good connection with the family at least, and maybe you can talk to them more about updates rather than this girl.
Yeah, maybe talk to her parents and be like, can you please try to get her to see that I don't want to be in a relationship with her anymore outside of a co-parenting one?
Exactly.
I helped my mother-in-law after her affair. Did I betray my husband's family?
You just might have.
Sources say perhaps. I'm 28 male, and I've been with my husband, 29 male, for 7 years, married for almost 1. This has been a genuinely good relationship. I love him deeply, and we've built something I'm proud of. He fits in great with my family, and I've always felt at home with his. I'm close with his younger brother and his girlfriend, but the person I've always felt the strongest connection with is his mom. Yeah, but this comes from user Reasonable While 966 and user Throwaway 13141. And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. A few years back, I went through a rough depressive episode, and his mother was the only one who truly showed up for me. She didn't treat me like her son's partner. She treated me like family. I've always loved her for that. I'm close with my father-in-law too, but with my mother-in-law, it always felt like more of a friendship. And then everything flipped. Just after Christmas, my father-in-law sat us all down and told us that she had been having an affair and that it wasn't the first time. He said that he tried to make things work, but he couldn't do it anymore. He was heartbroken, and it shattered the whole family. My husband and his brothers were crushed, and they all cut contact with her, and she moved out soon afterward. I get it. Cheating is a betrayal, especially after decades, plural, of marriage. I'm not trying to excuse what she did, but I also couldn't ignore the fact that during one of the worst times in my life, she showed me care and kindness when I felt like I had no one. That stayed with me. A few weeks ago, she reached out to me directly. She said she was running low on rent and didn't know who else to ask. She sounded anxious and desperate, and I helped her. It wasn't a huge amount, and she was incredibly grateful. She asked if I'd be willing to meet her for coffee. I said yes. When we met, she broke down and told me that she's tried reaching out to her sons, but none of them responded. So I listened. I didn't try to defend her or fix anything. I just tried to be there for her the way that she once was for me. Later that evening, I told my husband about it, and he completely lost it. He said I betrayed him and went behind his back back, and he left the house. The next day, I tried to explain where I was coming from. I told him I wasn't trying to choose sides. I just reacted to someone I care about being in a tough spot. He didn't say much and just told me to not do it again. When his brothers found out, they were disappointed in me as well. They said I crossed a line and should have respected their decision to cut contact. Now I feel stuck. I understand why they're upset. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just couldn't turn my back on someone who once didn't turn her back on mine. I wasn't trying to undermine their pain. I was trying to act with compassion. I'm not here to justify what was done, and I understand why my husband feels hurt. I acted on instinct and compassion in a tough moment, but now I feel like I've damaged something really important. I'd really appreciate any advice as to what to do further. How do I navigate this? We have some comments here, but before we give them up to the comments, my dear Florida man, John.
That is me, the Florida man with the plan.
What are your thoughts on the situation? Because I've got a handful.
Yes. So basically breaking it down, you have OP and OP's mother-in-law, who he's had a great relationship with in the past, but turns out she was a cheater. And this was not the first time. He helped her out in a pinch, gave her a little bit of rent money, and now OP's husband is mad at him, like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you helping her? This is really tough. I mean, I think maybe the first thing I'll call out, and curious what your response is on, like, obviously you know, I get being angry, but like essentially making them homeless kind of in a way.
Right. There is a little bit of hypocrisy going on here in the way where the brothers and I think the husband as well were like, well, why aren't you respecting our decision that we cut off my mom?
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's not my mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't cut her off. So can you also respect my decision to not cut off your mother? Because her affair has literally nothing to do with me. Like, I'm your husband, but like, she's not my mom.
Yeah.
Y'all can be mad at her in that way, in a way that I cannot.
Yeah.
Because she didn't raise me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's get into these comments. Comment number 1. Where you went wrong is not talking to your husband first before meeting your mother-in-law. No matter if your decision was helping her out, no matter what he said, you should have still let him know first how you feel and why you feel that way. Going behind someone's back and asking sorry later is not how loving relationships work. But again, I don't know if I agree with that comment, because that makes it sound like you needed permission from your partner to even speak to their adulterous mother, which you don't.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, would it have been good to just like let him know? Yes, but also to your point, there shouldn't be this like kind of weird permission structure built into it.
It's like you're kind of forcing OP to be roped in to the family debacle instead of just like letting them be an outside.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're not a spectator because they're married in, but it's like, you know, it's just fundamentally different.
Yeah.
Comment number 2. Probably should have talked to your husband first before going behind his back. I get you wanted to help, but he is your partner who is hurting, and you deceived him just like his mother. Comment number 3. In this kind of situation, people choose sides, especially when it's fresh. You have to remember that cutting her out isn't just about them not wanting to see her. It's also about punishing her. That is part of why your husband's family is angry. I won't say whether punishing is right or wrong. Ostracism can be very complex. When people in your orbit initiate something like this, your chances are to participate or to not. If you're not participating, then likely to them, you are undermining their punishment. I think to your husband, she's his mother. Your relationship with her exists through him. So if she is out of his life, he expects her to be out of your life too. I'm sure to you, helping her meant that your love for her was stronger than your disappointment in her actions. For people that were more hurt by her actions, it's just going to read like condoning. Unfortunately, we don't really get to choose how our actions impact others. Beyond that, you say you acted on instinct and compassion, but is that true? You make it sound like an involuntary action, that you took her call, met her for coffee, where she talked about her son's not responding, and gave her money, all without thinking about how everyone else would feel about it. I don't believe that. I think the first step here is owning your actions. You either own them as a choice you made that you deeply regret and wish you could change, or you own them as a choice you would make again in a heartbeat. That means telling your husband either, I regret meeting with your mother, I should have cared more about how it would impact you, or your mother means too much to me and I'm not willing to cut her out of my life. Then I guess you go from there. Fair enough. That's perfect. There's no way to get out of this without hurting someone, but do remember who created this situation. It wasn't your husband or his brothers. Comment number 4. The difference between your tough time and her tough time is that yours was brought on by mental illness, depression, and hers is the consequence of her own actions, cheating. I get that you wanted to return the compassion she showed you, but you should let sleeping dogs lie.
Talk to me. Give it to me.
Really quick. It's kind of like a okay story time. There's a man. Me and my buddy were skiing in Taos, right?
Yeah.
We get stuck up there on the mountain. We've lost his keys. His car is parked in the lot. We have no way. We are 3 hours from civilization. We have no way to get back home. A guy working in the parking lot ended up literally giving us his truck at the end of the day. We drove it 3 hours back to where we lived, got his spare key, drove the truck back, and gave it back to that guy. And his name was Kurt. And I will never, ever, ever forget how Kurt had our back. So hard. And so like for me, like I know that is two very different situations than what's going on in the story,
Right.
but I will always remember how much Kurt helped me. So for OP's always going to remember how much the mother-in-law helped him in that moment. None of the stuff outside of that matters. Like Kurt could have an affair with his wife. I would still help Kurt because he helped, because you have no idea how screwed me and my friend were.
I'm going to be honest. I think it's a gray zone. And I think that like, I do understand, especially in other cases, again, we talked about the scenario of like, oh, what if OP kept inviting mother-in-law to like family functions and they're like, hey, we don't want to see this woman who like broke all of our hearts, broke our father's heart. Like that's a completely different story where OP's like kind of interrupting their kind of like siloed experience, like you said,
right?
Like bringing it inside instead of it being outside.
She's like he would be hijacking the no contact.
Yeah, the no contact, exactly.
Right.
So while I do think it is a gray zone, I just like, putting on our judge robes and like having to decide on the gray area. I just don't think it's a punishment that fits the crime. I just don't think that. Even though I understand, OP could have just maybe communicated that was going to happen. Like, hey, look, I'm going to do this. This is why. I like your point of like not having like a permission thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Update March 26th, 3 days later. I lost access to my previous account, so I'm posting it from here. I didn't expect my post to gain the kind of traction it did. I genuinely appreciate the advice many of you offered. Some responses were a bit nuclear, understandably because Reddit, but I did take in a lot of perspectives that helped me reflect. I want to share some context that I didn't include in the original post, which I now realize was important. A few years ago, I went through a rough depressive episode. My husband and I were doing long distance at the time. He was working abroad. What's her name? And while he supported me as best he could, it was hard. His mom was the one who showed up in person. She dropped by often, made sure I was eating, even came with me to therapy a couple of times. It wasn't some grand gesture, but it mattered. That kind of consistency stays with you. So when she reached out a few days ago, anxious and saying she didn't know who else to ask, I just reacted. I helped her with a bit of money from my personal account. Nothing major, and I agreed to meet her for coffee. I didn't tell my husband before doing it, and that was where things really unraveled. He was blindsided. We've always been the kind of couple who talks through the hard stuff, and I acted completely on my own. I see now how that felt like betrayal to him. After a bit of space and some heavy conversations, we talked properly. He told me he'd spoken to his younger brother and finally got the full story about their last attempt to reach out to their mom. It wasn't just an argument, it was bad. She said things that were apparently cruel and deeply personal, the kind of stuff that cuts years deep. I hadn't known any of that. Neither of us had. Hearing it changed something for me. The woman I saw at coffee was warm, vulnerable, even a little lost, but that's not the woman his brother dealt with. And maybe both are real. Maybe she's unraveling. Maybe she's always been complicated. I honestly don't know, and I'm gonna pause really quick to say both of them are real. Dustin Hoffman is an actor. Really quick, I promise this is relevant. Talks about how it's like, actors will be like, oh, I couldn't possibly play like the mean person or the and it's like, why? And it's like, well, because I'm so nice. It's like, but you're not nice all the time. Like that there's a mean version of you inside of you that you could bring out. You just don't want to because you've been told that it's like wrong or whatever. So there's a version of her that is that person talking to her youngest son. And then there's the version of her that you spoke to that is the warm, empathetic, confused woman. They both exist.
Yeah. I like how OP's basically painting the whole portrait of like, is complicated. She is a whole person with these multiple sides, and like she's hurting, her son's over here, and she gave me life-changing help over here.
Yes.
Both are true at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I do know here is that my husband's boundaries are valid. Which is true. He told me clearly that he's not ready to reconnect with her and that he's not comfortable with me being in touch with her either. And after hearing what I've heard, I understand that. I've told him I'm stepping back. If she does reach out again, I'll tell her that I can't be the person in the middle, not unless something genuinely shifts between them first. We both apologized. He for shutting down so quickly, and me for making a decision without him when I shouldn't have. We're okay now. I still think there's something more going on with her emotionally, maybe even mentally. She's been a stay-at-home mom most of her life, and her siblings live abroad, and from what I've heard, she's already asked her friends for help before coming to me. That doesn't excuse anything, but it does make me think about how lost she might be right now. Still, that's not something I can fix. Right now, my focus is on us. I can care about what his mom did for me in the past and still recognize that she has hurt people I love. This whole situation has been messy and a bit surreal. We didn't walk away from it with everything fixed, but we've come out of it with a better understanding of where we each stand. We handled it in the best way we could, and at the end of the day, we're still solid. And by the way, you can be so solid by solidly listening to full episodes with stories like this one. All you have to do is go to iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. But, before we finish it, we're in a good place.
I am just in awe and love this communication and just the realness of it,
Yes.
the rawness of it. Hey, look, it was messy. We learned the mom is a complicated person with multiple things, but you know what? We sat down, we talked about it, we looked at ourselves, we looked at our partners, we looked at the whole scenario, and we came out better for it.
That's right.
What more can you ask?
So, still, I can't lie. There's a part of me that feels pulled toward who she was for me during that rough time. Letting go emotionally feels messier than I expected. How do you emotionally let go of someone who was once there for you when the situation clearly calls for distance? We have some comments providing some insight here. Couples resolving issues like adults, talking them out and listening to each other is always nice to see in an update. Yes, I agree. Comment 2, I think your comment about maybe she's always been complicated is probably spot on. Most people are complex and you only see the side that they allow you to. Number 3, tough situation for sure. In the end, you only knew the part of her she was willing to show you. Her compassion when you needed a friend was undeniable. However, there seems to be a lot more about her that you truly don't know and probably never will. You tried to support her in a similar way that she supported you. That part is now done. And while you may not think of it as being in the same meaningful way, it definitely was for her. Let it go now and feel good about being compassionate to her, but let your husband and his family dictate any further involvement. Best wishes. I love that comment. I love it.
OP and the commenters just locked in.
We're crushing it.
Locked in right now.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
This is a healthy update and brave of you to recognize that the person you knew who helped you and the person who caused a lot of hurt are not mutually exclusive. They are both capable of existing at the same time, and they both come with their own type of grief in a situation like this. Reconciling the love and esteem you have for someone who fundamentally supported you through darkness is so challenging in light of them creating that darkness for someone else. Many someones, really. Do you think maybe some therapy might help you short-term in processing these feelings? I commend you and your husband both for communicating and giving each other grace during this time. It's easy to lose sight of things when we're fraught and emotionally charged. You both came together, created space and acknowledgement for one another, and came to the resolution you have now. However fragile it feels, it is still progress. Things will become easier with time and a little bit of distance from it. Good job! And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of that story.
What notes do I have?
None. That was a great, perfect ending.
Just what a great analysis, what great self-awareness, what great empathy, what great communication. You can't ask for more.
Yeah.
And you know what? Life can be complicated.
Yeah.
These people can be complicated, but we acknowledge it and we just work.
My father accused me of being involved in my mother's affair. I lost all sympathy.
Involved in what way, my guy?
I, 19 male, have had a strong yet loose relationship with my parents for the past 5 to 6 years. At that point, my father, 40 male, started using my brother and me as therapists, telling us about all the bad things that had happened in the past. Whenever these conversations would come up, I would make an effort to show I was listening so my brothers could put their headphones on and not have to hear it. By the way, this comes from Golden Angle, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. Let me be absolutely clear with this. Given their content, those conversations were not the kind a father should have with his sons at such a young age. To make things worse, he would tell us these stories on the car rides from school where we couldn't exactly leave the conversation.
Oh, I hate captive conversation.
My mom would do this to my brother every single day. When he wasn't telling us about his past, he was constantly showing us every bit of bad news the internet had to offer. Oh, insert company we eat at weekly has more than shady dealings, or this government agency's doing horrible stuff in that country. It might not seem like much, but this was every day he did this. What's weird is that this wasn't a building habit. It just started one day. Whenever we tried to tell him to stop, he'd either start it back up the next day or he'd get offensive with us. I'm not exactly sure how to explain that, to be honest with you all. Those of you who had to deal with people like that will understand what I mean.
As someone who can be annoying, this guy sounds like annoying.
Super annoying. A few months ago, I reached out to my grandfather regarding my mental health, wanting someone's opinion on whether or not I should get a therapist. He gave me a non-committal answer, which was fair enough. The next day, my father pulled me aside to talk. I asked if this was about my chat with my grandfather. It wasn't. After he asked me to elaborate, I told him about what I thought was the main issue with my mental health. A regular user I've found harder to shake once I realized what it was. His response to me opening up to him was to say, "That's it?" before one-upping me with his own recent trauma. I wouldn't have minded so much if this wasn't the one time I had wanted him to hear me out after years of being forced to listen to him vent. Then there's my mom. And I'll be honest, there's not much to say here. I love her, and she's done nothing against me or my brothers. In the end, she was the best parent she could have been given the cards in her hand. The only reason I'd call my relationship with her loose is because if I go no contact with my father, I'd cut her out as well and not force her to pick a side. Onto the current situation. A few days ago, my father pulled me aside to talk about something. Usually when he does this, he needs to vent, and I mentally prepare myself as such. I was not prepared for him to ask me if I thought my mom was cheating on him. Here's where I state that not only do I still live with them, but I also work in the same place that she does, and I'm with her barely 30 feet away, 9 hours from Monday to Thursdays. I work 4 hours on Fridays. On top of that, she rarely leaves home, only going out to lunch with her sister and mom or when she decides to go get groceries, always being back within a reasonable time frame. There is no time for her to even try anything. If you're going to ask someone, it's going to be OP. And guess what OP's answer was? I simply said no, because there was no other answer. I couldn't think of anything. I later learned he suspected me as the being in on it.
How old is OP right now? How are you going to ask your own kid if his mom is cheating on his dad? I'm all for being like, did you hear this weird thing that like this company did? Like, oh, but like once you're like, hey, is your mom cheating on me with someone in the office? It's like, dude, back all the way up. That's not something you do.
I think what happened was the dad got hooked on some kind of news. Like he started watching like either Fox News, CNN News. I don't like the news because they always dramatize everything. I mean, not gonna lie, we dramatize everything. We got to get you hooked in.
We read drama.
Yeah, we read drama. We got to get you hooked in. And news platforms do that. That's why I read journalism, because like their rules are like it has to be this certain way. It's not very clickbaity. But I think he just started going into it, started watching this news, and then just kind of turned into this person.
Bottom line is, if you're not careful, you'll let other people do your thinking for you.
There we freaking go. I wouldn't know this until yesterday when my youngest brother, 16, told my mom when we got home. Still, I had no clue what to do with this knowledge. I did not and still do not want to be anywhere near this situation at all. I didn't know if I should tell my mother. Given his personality and his current mental state, I knew the situation would likely get out of hand very quickly if she'd push him on it. So, with no idea what to do, I decided to sit and wait for when we would come home that Monday, yesterday. When we got home, I was hit with the fact that my father had spent that morning talking to my brothers about the situation, showing them his proof, which I'll go into later, and telling them over and over that she had already admitted to it. According to my youngest brother, When they tried talking rationally with him, he would just say, see it through my perspective, or listen to me with an open heart. What about we listen to you with a critical mind, with some critical thinking?
I'd be like, Dad, I'm not going to listen to you talk about how mom's cheating on you. Go talk about that with anyone else on earth besides your 16-year-old son.
How about you go talk about it with her?
Yeah, or like your buddies, or like a therapist, or like HR at work, or like literally any single living being on earth. Anyone besides your sons. Anyone besides the people who are the most emotionally invested and sensitive in regards to the situation.
And he's lying about it too. He's like, she already admitted to it, so just tell me.
Crazy.
I have no idea how long he spent with my brothers on Monday talking about it, but he didn't convince them. A few hours later, I chose to take a jog while the rain was light. It had been pouring all day, and I took the chance when I saw it. When I left, I passed my parents talking in the carport. When I came back, I saw my dad was alone. He pulled me aside before I could get inside. This is when he showed me his proof. His physical evidence was text between the two of them. While most of them were long walls of text, which he made me read word for word, I do remember one particular exchange of 2 messages. He said, please just leave it at work. That's where it all began. She simply replied with, okay. From his perspective, this was her admitting to cheating. This was also when I learned he thought she was cheating with my boss, whose wife works 10 feet away from my mom in the same department. This guy has zero critical thinking.
This guy's like, hey, all this stuff happened at work, so just leave it there. She's like, okay.
And as the wife, she probably gets hit with his like wall of information all the time. She's just like, okay, let me just get out of this conversation, because if I don't say anything, he's thinking I'm ignoring him. So I'm just going to give him a response.
He's doing classic confirmation bias. He's like, that okay was not okay. I'll only cheat on you at the office. It was okay. I hope we never have a discussion like this ever again.
This would drain me. This type of person cannot be around. You will lose Riley, and just a body with no soul in it would be sitting there.
I'm sure like the lack of trust right now, maybe it's something to do with like all the conspiracies or like all the news and how everything's bad. So it's like now everything's bad, and that means my wife's got to be cheating on me because I saw some, article about how like 60% of like women cheat on their husbands with their work people.
Dude got clickbaited every day. From my mom's perspective, she thought he was talking about negative emotions. She knew she'd been distant with him in recent times and figured that's what he was talking about. The following text followed in that pattern. Her saying that she'd be better, should do better, saying that he deserved better, and him taking this as her admissions of guilt. Keep in mind, she's never outright said she was cheating. And as far as I saw, she's never hinted at the topic to begin with. After this, he said that when he picked her up last Friday, she smelled like chemicals. Here's where I tell you that certain areas of my workplace deals with a lot of chemicals. The most detail I can give about the actual nature of our work is that we deal with small plane parts. In her position, my mom is in charge of the inventory cage at work, where she's constantly at and where a good number of the chemicals are stored. On top of that, she moves around the whole building getting paperwork and important info where it needs to be. So is these like good smelling chemicals or just chemicals in general? You'd figure that at least one day out of the 4 years she's worked that she'd get chemicals on her. At that point, I completely checked out of the conversation and noticed my mom leaving the house and going into the woods on the back of our property. We live on my grandparents' land, with the majority of it being forest, which we'd go through by on the regular. I nodded at her as she passed by, trying to give my father a hint that this was his chance to show his proof with her present. He instead took it as a sign to keep going, completely oblivious as he talked about how she'd just walked back inside to sulk. Not the exact words, but you get the idea.
This is just like way too much for kids. And look, I'm just trying to like have a little bit of sympathy for this guy who's clearly like gone to a place where he can't trust literally anything. But it's like he cannot be talking about this with his kids. None of this is ironclad evidence of anything.
No, like everything else he's probably seeing. Statistics out there, I'm going to base all my information off this statistic. That's probably not even real.
If I'm OP and I'm like the oldest one, I'm legitimately worried about you. You're behaving like unhinged. You shouldn't be talking to my brothers about this. You shouldn't be talking to me about this. Go get a beer. Go to a therapist. Go to the doctor. Go talk to anybody else besides your kids.
After he went inside a little later, I followed her into the woods, mostly to make sure she wouldn't try anything. That's when she told me that she was considering agreeing with him just to get over with it. You've said it time and time before. Whenever cops like put a suspect into like a scenario and they're interrogating them, they're like, did you murder this person? Did you like kill them? They just say yes so they can leave.
I don't think admitting that you cheated with your boss when you didn't, when your husband's acting so unstable, is a good idea, because then it's probably going to make its way back to the workplace. It's like, this is rough.
It's crazy. I told her in no uncertain terms that the idea was horrible. She agreed, saying that it would just open another world of problems. When we got back home, I saw that my dad had driven off somewhere. Taking the chance, I left my mom as she went inside and decided to call my aunt for some help. While I won't share family history, or it doesn't matter, I can say that she's relatable and careful in situations like this, to say the very least. After almost half an hour, she agreed to take my mom to lunch this weekend, making sure to make a show of picking her up so there wouldn't be more fuel to my father's fire. Now comes today, where I learned that the situation is on a slippery slope and where I lost the last bit of sympathy I had for my father. On my lunch break, he sent me a text. In case you don't want to see it, it was instructions for me to spy on my mom for him. Please note that I had previously told him that I couldn't and wouldn't do anything in the situation. I would need a hard confession for me to act on, which leads me to the final part. My father picked her up from work an hour and a half early. This was worrying because I know how he argues. If he can't use extreme examples to make you look bad, he'll gaslight you. If either option works, then he'll simply say, "You're right," and storm off out of the area. In a locked car, he is stuck with the first two options, and my mom is forced to bear it. Something to note is that it is only 20 minutes away from my job to my house. I offered to pick up dinner on my way home and asked my youngest brother if our parents were home. At 4:57 p.m., he said they got home. She left for work at 3 p.m. For nearly 2 hours, she was left at the mercy of his delusions. He isn't a physical person, but he grew up with people who had that argumentative style, and he improved on it for the worse. With that said, if she simply says that she cheated, I won't believe it. He's essentially trapped her with him for 2 hours with no third party, and although I can't prove anything as I wasn't there, I think he spent that whole time trying to verbally beat it out of her, whether or not they got home because he's lost his patience or because she admitted to it, and I don't yet know.
Oh my God.
I don't like people like this at all.
No, this is really not good. I'm OP and Dad keeps doing this. I'm like, Dad, divorce her. If you can't let this go, if this is something you're going to feel like is a thing forever, then divorce her. Start the proceedings, all right? Because I can't do this. My brothers can't do this. She doesn't deserve this. And I guess you should go find someone you can trust. Stop talking to me about it. I feel real bad. I feel for everybody in this story.
This guy just needs to go away. And you should go away after this story because we got plenty more crazy stories just like this one. Go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and there we got it just for you guys. I've seen this happen in action with friends of mine, and it's just like, why are you entertaining this? You deserve better.
I wouldn't tell the mom that, although the mom deserves to not be with this guy. But I would say that in an attempt to just like snap him out of it. Like, just shut up. You're just hurting everybody. You're making everything worse. And it's not even real. It's not happening. You need help.
Honestly, this whole situation is tearing the two of them apart for different reasons. Because he can't get his head out of his own butt. I listened to this man for years explain to me the horrible things that have happened to him in his life, just for him to toss my insecurities in the place of his own. I have sat with him through every round of depression he's had while he barely took note of mine. And now he wants me to believe my own mother is cheating on him with my boss. I know he's stuck in his thinking, and there's no way I can see to get him out of it. I've been a voice of reason for him in the past, but I already know he's not going to listen. Yikes, dude.
This is a level of paranoia. I can't like slam dunk on him too hard because I feel like this guy's going through an acute like mental health crisis right now. It's hard to be like, this guy just sucks. It's like, no, I don't know. Something is like crossed up in his neurons right now is what it feels like to me.
My thought process, if you do not trust your wife that much, you're just going downhill. You got to check with someone else. Your responsibility to fix what's going on in your head is on you, and you need to go see someone. That's where I disagree with.
No one can go make him do it.
I found a pregnancy test in my girlfriend's groceries. I think she's cheating on me.
Well, she's definitely maybe pregnant. That we know.
Am I wrong for accusing my girlfriend of cheating on me? Found a pregnancy test. So my girlfriend and I have been together for just under a year. We don't live together and both work full time, and we are exclusive as far as I'm aware. About 3 months ago, I noticed my girlfriend spending a lot of time on the phone with her friend Jessie. She says that Jessie is a good friend and that's it. By the way, this comes from OC Original, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. However, she often spends any time she can on the phone with him, even when her and I are out. Their conversations don't lead me to think anything, but about 1.5 months ago, my girlfriend said she's going to visit Jessie, who lives 2 states over. I can't go because I have to work. Of course, I tell her that I'm not comfortable with her visiting a male friend out of state, but she says that Jesse's just a friend. She'll be staying at his place, but Jesse is also a single father of 2 young boys, so my girlfriend assures me nothing will happen. Despite me voicing my opinion, my girlfriend takes the trip and shares her location to put my mind at ease. Yeah, you can't really tell your girlfriend not to go see her friends.
Yeah, once you're at that point, it's like, well, why don't we just, lock her in the basement, right? It's like you can't restrict movement.
She returns a week later and we move on with life. However, about 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend asks me to go to our local Target to pick up an online order she had placed. She tells me she ordered shampoo and a few hygiene items. I agree and go to pick up her order. When I get to the customer service counter and give them her name, they bring out a bag with a pregnancy test in it. Shocked and confused, I tell them that this is what she ordered. I check the name and my phone number attached to the bag and find it matches my girlfriend's number, so it couldn't have been another girl with the same name. They bring out the bag with the items she told me to get, and I leave without asking more questions about the pregnancy test. Shocked and confused by this because there was no real way that I could have potentially impregnated her. We used protection. I later ask her why there was a pregnancy test at Target in her name. At first, she says she has no idea and she did not order a pregnancy test. I asked her to show me her Target app to prove it. And she says that it was probably her sister, since her sister sometimes uses her Target order to order things. She also claims that women sometimes use pregnancy tests to regulate their PMS or for other things other than to determine if they're pregnant. I don't know crap about how this works, but she assures me that she's not pregnant, and that test wasn't a sign of her cheating when she was on a trip. The other night, we go out to dinner, and she makes it a point to prove that she isn't pregnant by ordering a few cocktails. Am I wrong for accusing my girlfriend of cheating on me while she was away? I'm so paranoid, but also don't have real proof that she did. There is an edit and an update. Edit needed to clarify the part about the pregnancy test. The pregnancy test was part of a separate online order. She asked me to pick up her online order at Target, which she said consisted of shampoo, deodorant, and some lotion. When I went to the counter and told them her name, they brought out the bag with the pregnancy test. I said this isn't what she told me was her order, so they checked again and brought out the second bag with the right stuff as previously mentioned. After checking the info off both bags, I confirmed that both orders were under her name and account, so I believe she secretly placed an online order for a pregnancy test and planned to get that later while asking me to get her shampoo. The pregnancy test was not in the same bag as the stuff she asked me to get. And there is an update, so let's get into it. I never saw the pregnancy test after that, so I don't know if that truly was an order she made by mistake or if her sister used her Target account to order that herself. However, I did bring up the fact that her sister lives about 20 minutes from her and has a Target much closer to her, so why would she place an order for a pregnancy test and have the pickup location further from her house? Even if her local Target was all out, I find it hard to believe that her sister would order a pregnancy test under her account and pick it up near her house. I mean, unless she's trying to be more secretive.
Why are we being so sneaky?
I just like how OP keeps repeating, I don't have proof yet.
Yeah, I don't have proof, but I'm going to make a lot of wild conjectures here.
But clearly there's gotta be something, right? Like there's gotta be like some probably other information that we're not being told here that's making him so paranoid. Or it's like a gut, dude. Sometimes your gut just tells you like something ain't right here.
Like whether she's cheating or not, you don't trust her.
Not a great thing.
Comments. Jenno Flower says, sure, the pregnancy test could have been placed in her order by error, but then she'd have just shown you the app to prove she didn't order it and wouldn't have blamed her sister. She also wouldn't have lied about women using pregnancy tests to regulate PMS. This is absolutely not the truth, and you should be insulted by this lie. The only thing pregnancy tests are used for is to determine if women are pregnant. That's it. She has changed the story like 5 times, and you want to believe her so much that you're starting to believe her. Honestly, no. I think OP from the start has not believed her. Her having cocktails proves nothing except that the pregnancy test was negative. She went to stay with Jesse despite your reservations about it, lied about the pregnancy test, and is making you think you are paranoid for thinking she cheated without protection probably. Oh my, yes please. Women use birth control to regulate periods, not pregnancy tests. No coffee 4339. The pregnancy test isn't a sign of her cheating, but her reasoning is. Pregnancy tests don't regulate anything. Her changing stories and excuses are all you need to hear to know she's hiding something from you. And there is an update.
Just the fact that she secretly got it is weird.
Again, I think regardless of whether or not she cheated, wasn't off to a great start before you found this.
Also, I do think that it's fair, like, you can, as a partner, be like, hey, like, you going to stay at this guy Jesse's house who I know is into you? But it's like, if that's the context where it's like, I feel like this guy's into you and it makes me uncomfortable, like you staying over at this guy's house.
Who lives 2 states away? Where's she supposed to stay?
Hotel, motel.
I think that's silly. Personally, in my own relationship, if I had a partner who was like, you can't stay with your friend.
But it's not about being like, you can't stay there. It's being like, hey, can I talk to you? Just like, this is how I feel. Not like a, you have to do this.
Sure, I mean, you can express how you feel.
The math ain't mathing right now.
I think in this case, she probably did cheat. But I do think in general, I think that telling your partner that they can't stay with a longtime friend, if they're saying like, I want to sleep in the same bed, that's messed up. But like, they're friends. But also you can ask your partner to do anything and it's up to them to say no or not. But thank you all for those that commented on my post yesterday concerning my girlfriend and my belief that she had cheated on me. So as an update, I realized that although my girlfriend and I had protected spicy sleep, the chances of me getting her pregnant are possible. However, I strongly believe that despite our intimacy, I couldn't have possibly impregnated my girlfriend. Not to be disgusting and personal.
Ew, they're talking about doing gross stuff. Ew.
Because I want to reduce our chances of having kids until we're both ready. That's why when I saw the pregnancy test, I immediately thought she cheated on me. Anyways, I went into panic last night after hearing all the comments and freaked out, so I went to her apartment while she was at work. She gave me a key and I found her iPad. I tried using her birthday as the password, and to my amazement, it worked. I immediately go through her messages and find evidence that she had in fact had a spicy sleep with her friend, Jessie. And again, she cheated here. You don't trust her. You know, let's break up.
Jesse's girl.
I honestly am so devastated by this and have been a nervous wreck since last night, and I haven't eaten or slept. Yes, I know what I did. Secretly going through her iPad and messages was wrong. But I had to know if she was cheating on me and if the pregnancy test she secretly ordered was because Jessie may have knocked her up. And I mean, like, you were proven right. If you had proven wrong, you still would have destroyed the relationship. But you were right. The relationship is over. So just break up with this woman.
Or you could have just never said anything about it and lived forever harboring that secret deep within your soul and your heart. No, you should not have done that.
Raising Jesse's kid.
I want to raise Jesse's children.
Now I'm waiting to confront her, but I honestly don't know how. How do I tell my girlfriend that I know she cheated? Am I wrong for going through her iPad and messages? Part of me feels wrong for this, but you have no idea how much it hurts to know she did this. She was my first real girlfriend in a long time, and now I feel like an afterthought. Edit, as far as I know, she is not pregnant. She wanted to prove this by having a few cocktails when we went to dinner last week. There's no baby involved. Thank God. My point is that if someone's going to cheat, they're going to cheat. I don't think that we should be like, oh, if you're going to visit your opposite gender friend.
There's context that has to go into it. It's not just because like, oh, it's a boy, you can't go. It's like, well, if it's a guy and it's like, I don't know. Sometimes all it takes is one look and you can be like, I know exactly what you're thinking. I had a situation like this happen to me with a girlfriend where it was like, she was like, oh, this guy's just my friend. I'm like, that guy wants you. Like he would push me in front of a train to take you. And she's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. And then guess what? Knock, knock, knock. Yeah, you were right. Sometimes you just know. And I don't know if that's what this is. I'm just putting that out there.
I'm just saying, like, let's say you go and like sleep over at this friend's house and you as a partner is like, they're totally into you. Like, you can absolutely say that and be like, hey, they're really into you. And like, you know, just want to let you know that. But like, it's on your partner to fulfill their side of the bargain. If they want to cheat, they're gonna.
If you're made aware that the person that you want to stay over at's like into you and then you still do it anyway, I feel like that's disrespectful to your partner.
I think that is a different level. Yeah, I think that's a little bit more disrespectful.
Shows your level of trust with your partner and communication, literally.
I think if it was someone you knew who was like flirting with them, that'd be different. But this is not what was necessarily happening here. My point is, there is a level of respect, of course. And if you know someone's flirting with you, you have to make sure you put up certain levels of boundaries and stuff. But don't tell your partner that they can't hang out with their friend. Blanket statement. C. Denove. Not wrong. The pregnancy test and her preposterous answers to your questions about it caused enough concern to do some digging. And there is an update. So last night, I told my girlfriend that I needed to talk to her. At first, she kept saying she was busy, but I insisted on seeing her in person. So she finally said to go to her place around 8 p.m. I go over and reiterated how ever since she got back from her trip, things have felt weird. She claims I'm the one who's making things weird by believing that she cheated on me. She continues to claim that the pregnancy test was not hers and that her friend Jessie was just a friend and they just hung out. I then proceed to tell her I know she cheated because I saw the thread in her messages. You came here without me knowing and went through my personal messages? That's so messed up and creepy, to be honest, she says. Almost as bad as you cheating.
Almost as messed up as your stuff.
We got into a slight argument as I told her that my suspicions were correct and she was trying to deflect the conversation. I asked her to give me her phone and I'll show her all the messages I saw, which were very clear and explicit. Of course, she refused and said, "We're not married. We don't live together. You don't own or control me." That's crazy.
I mean, like, thank God I'm not married to you. Good point.
We're in a relationship.
That's the best move to go, oh my God, you know what? You just made my night. Thank you for reminding me I'm not married to you.
While I agreed with her on that part, I decided to end things quickly and simply put her copy of her keys on her coffee table and told her, "You cheated, plain and simple. Goodbye and good luck." I walked out and she made no attempts to stop me. Later, she tried to text me and said that she's sorry for what she did. At first, she claimed that Jesse was an old boyfriend that she never told me about, and that they dated years ago before she met me and that he moved away several years ago.
So what?
She claims that the messages I saw were old conversations they had, but I quickly told her that was obviously not true. She swears that she didn't mean to cheat and that Jesse must have gotten her wasted and it led to spicy sleep. She assures me that she's not pregnant with anyone's baby. I told her that's good because I don't want anything else tying me to you. I wished her good luck again and I haven't heard from her since. But you can hear from us if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Pokey Storytime. Wow, she really is a bad liar.
You know what? You dodged the bullet made out of red flags. That was your girlfriend. And that's all I have to say about that.
So let's get into the rest of the story. Personally, I'm relieved, but I'm so upset and devastated by all of this. I spoke with my friend Eric, who told me that he had an ex that cheated on him too, but she later tried to contact him years later when the dude she cheated on him with turned out to be a bum. Hoping I can move forward from this. Thank you all for your input. Am I wrong for anything I did or the way I acted in this? I mean, a little bit in the way that you went about it, but you were proven right. It's like you played a really risky game, but where either way your relationship would have been over. But, you know, she cheated on you, so your relationship is definitely over.
I don't know, not the a-hole. Your gut was so strong, you knew.
But that's the end of that story.
My stepmother betrayed my father while he was terminally ill.
And you know what we do with traitors?
We throw him in the traitor hole. So, my 27 male, stepmom, 70 female, Cindy, has been with my father since I was 5. So, for over 20 years. I've never particularly been close with her family. I was a little bit of a problem child with ADHD off the charts and would always get in trouble, so I was never really included by her family. Plus, she's always just been pretty overtly rude with no self-awareness, and I wouldn't put up with it and would talk back, which is also probably a reason. By the way, this comes from user That's Rare, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. They would be cordial with me, but after 20 years, we still never were family. However, Cindy to me was, and I loved her as if she was a second mother to me because she was. My dad got diagnosed with Parkinson's dementia with Lewy body features over a year ago, which sounds horrendous. He required full-time care over time and progressively forgot how to do basic tasks to the point where he lost all his dignity. He fell and broke his ribs in the house. Cindy decided it was time to put him in the hospital for full-time care until he passed. This was in August of 2024.
Oh, wow. So this is like recent.
Since then, I was visiting my dad, preparing for my newborn child, who was just born April 2nd, recovering from a major surgery, which is a 6-month recovery process, among other issues. To say this winter has been hard for me is a vast understatement. I had tried to stay in contact with Cindy. I'd send her messages, and when we would meet at the hospital, I'd tell her if she ever needs me, don't hesitate to call me. I would tell her that I always had worried once my dad passed that her side of the family would just completely write me off because I I've never really been included. The age gap between me and all of Cindy's children is pretty wide as well. Over time, she became increasingly more distant and cold with me. I would call her and try to converse, and it would go like, hey, I'm out with a friend, call you later, bye. I would drive past the house on the way home from the hospital because it was on my drive home, and periodically notice a vehicle there I was unfamiliar with.
Maybe it's just the tax guy.
Maybe she's just doing her taxes.
Did we think about that? Is it tax season, OP?
Still, I had my hunch, but didn't say anything because to me, the thought of her effing with someone else while my dad is passing away in the hospital just made no sense to me. It couldn't possibly be true. My father did pass on January 23rd, and I got to sit at the hospital with his body and cried for hours.
Oh, and to think like your stepmother during that time is potentially cheating is horrendous.
Pretty gross of her. A few weeks later, we had our baby shower, and I had invited Cindy weeks in advance. It was hosted by my sister, and she was more than welcome to come. The day of the shower, she texts me and says, I won't make it. I had plans with Billy, her son. Bye. And I said, okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know. Love you.
But OP invited her weeks in advance, and she just made these plans.
I got Billy plans.
Yeah, you know Billy. He comes into town.
When Billy rolls into town,
you gotta clear your schedule.
My schedule's cleared.
Yeah.
When Billy walks in,
he's like Santa.
Still, to me, that was pretty sus. Fast forward a few weeks, and I go over there to collect my father's ashes, and she texts me on the way and goes, "Don't go into the garage. I'll tell you later." Weird, but okay.
I go into the garage.
Yeah, I'm going in the garage.
I'm going right into the garage.
So I get there. We talk. I get a small necklace from my father, and I eventually ask how the door got broken. She was reluctant to tell me at first, saying it was broken, but wouldn't tell me who broke it. So I pretty much confirmed my hunch at that point. After 20 years of being in my life, there's not many people I don't know, so for her to hide a name is really weird. I tell her she can just come clean because I know already, and she tells me she didn't want me to hate her. So she tells me how since August, which is when my dad got put in the hospital, she's been effing around with a guy named Jerry, 80 male.
How old is she?
70.
Okay.
Now, Jerry, she informs me, isn't a new acquisition. Prior to my father, she had another husband named Ralph, and he was around for about 20 years. This guy has existed in her life since before Ralph.
That's crazy. Why didn't you just marry him?
Yeah, since your 20s, you're 70 now. This guy's been you've been messing with this guy since you were in your 20s?
No, I think 20 years ago.
20 years and then another 20 years. Ralph for 20 years. Prior to my father, she had a husband named Ralph. He was around for about 20 years. So that's 20 years with Ralph, God. 20 years with OP's dad.
Yeah, why?
And
why even get with OP's dad?
And this guy's just there the whole time. Wow.
Guarantee you, it's money.
Oh, does he have the cha-ching? Or no, the dad had the cha-ching. And this guy's got the shishwing. Gotcha. Okay. So she was effing this guy before Ralph just as a fling, she informs me, and then she booted him to the curb for Ralph. Ralph passes away. She gets with Jerry again for a few months, meets my dad, and then boots Jerry to the curb again. My dad starts passing away, picks Jerry back up. She also told me that before Dad went to the hospital, Jerry showed up there one day talking about, I've driven past this house for years, working up the courage to come down there. She allegedly shooed him off. Jerry is also the reason the door is broken on the garage. Apparently, she told him that she doesn't want to have a relationship, and he got mad, came over while she was gone, and busted the garage door that my dad had built himself.
Man's in good shape for an 80-year-old.
Well, I imagine he just drove the car into it.
That also works. That could do it. This is kind of the plot of The Notebook, but if it were like over the course of 80 years.
And just really toxic.
Yeah. I mean, The Notebook is quite toxic.
No, The Notebook is a perfect love story with no problems, as we've already determined on this show. Just don't look into it. Don't
any
analyze
further
it.
than the first scene.
Just look at the surface level and think about, ooh, how they kiss in the rain. Ooh, how they kiss in the rain.
Or they lie on the sidewalk or the street and almost get run over.
To have a multi-generational F-boy.
That's crazy. Like, he's obsessed with you, man.
And she knows it, and she likes it.
Yeah, and she's like, no,
get out
like,
later.
No,
he's
I'm
like,
with you.
I've
He's
been
like,
working up the courage
I'll
to
stay around.
Yeah.
However long you'll keep me, I'll come back.
I just drive by your house and I I hope one day I have the courage to say something. She's like, ew, gross, shut up, get out of here.
Yeah, no, it probably is. He probably has some version of like Ryan Gosling's, like that woman that Ryan Gosling is seeing. And then the second that, is it Rachel McAdams? Yeah, comes back. He's like, okay, bye.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, bye.
OP's stepmother is Rachel McAdams.
But
and
even the
Jared's like,
even
okay,
like-
get out of here.
She knew though. She's like, yeah, you don't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta know if this man is willing to come back over the course of 80 years after being like kicked out of her life 3 times, he has very little self-respect.
Yeah, well, hey. You know what? He might not have a lot of self-respect, but I gotta respect Jerry's hustle at 80.
Yeah, man.
I gotta respect Jerry's hustle at 80.
Can't stop, won't stop.
At 80, that's a man. That's a man in love. We talked about a lover in our last story.
Yeah, this is a lover boy.
That guy is a lover.
Yeah, he has a strict moral code, and it's just OP's stepmother.
Okay, so he busts the garage door. He busts the garage door. She had also been letting him keep his things in the garage, frequently going on dates with him, buying him a $300 stereo set. So I can understand his confusion. But still, mind you, this is the day I go over to get my ashes of my 1 month passed away father. She drops the I've been effing someone else while he's in the hospital on me. While I'd be visiting him, he'd be calling her name out while she's probably at home getting wienered down by Jerry in my father and her's bed. It is a disgusting thought for me. Well, yeah, because it's disgusting.
I mean, just in general, disgusting thought.
Just a horrifically disgusting thing
Just
to do.
awful thing. Yeah.
I keep it cordial, but I am fuming at this point and try to divert the conversation. She mentions going to this bar, and I offer to go with her so we can get some time together. And she goes, why would I bring you to the bar when I'm trying to pick up guys? Like, how sick in the head do you have to be? At this point, I excuse myself to go outside and fix her headlight on her car for her, but also to get some air. You gotta hit her with the, I gotta go to the store and get some headlight fluid.
Yeah.
Your headlight fluid is low, and and then you drive around for 45 minutes and rethink your life.
Yeah.
I go outside to the garage and notice all my dad's stuff moved around and taken out, my stuff rifled through. Cindy wouldn't have done this, and she also mentioned Jerry rearranged the garage to make it cozier for them.
She's incredibly too comfortable talking about the man that she cheated on OP's father for.
Yes.
Probably doesn't even care.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's 70.
Well, yeah,
Usually-
this is
usually-
her.
Yeah, usually older people just don't have any filter.
This is her.
I mean, like 70's not even that like, I don't know. It's not like crazy old.
Listen, my dad's at that age where he just does not care. He'll just say whatever. I'm like,
I don't know. My aunts, like I have an aunt and an uncle at that age, and like they're still.
they're still. I'm
You
saying
know?
every older person's
Yeah.
like that, but
This is
older,
just
sometimes
kinda-
older people just don't. They're at that point where like, I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't think Cindy's picking up anybody. I think if Cindy tries to pick somebody up, she breaks in half. She's 70. Anyway. And I also notice his address written on a notepad on the lawn chair in the garage, so I know it was this effer. Why is his address written on a notepad on a lawn chair in the garage?
It's
All
like,
people just know,
come
man.
find
They-
me.
Yeah, they have a way with.
We shall fight at dawn at this
Yeah.
address.
Is that him? Like, is he starting a duel?
Yeah.
That's him going through the DMs, right?
Throw down your gauntlet.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of a DM.
That's
Yeah.
an
For
older
an
age
80-year-old man.
He left a note with his address that just says "you up."
Yeah.
on like a
And she's
stool.
like, "When was this? Was this for
crazy.
tonight?"
He just wrote down his name and address and the time at the moment.
Yeah, he's like, "Here,
And I just wrote
It's
a
like-
text message.
if you're up at 10 p.m., maybe 9, I go to sleep early."
I just gotta figure out how to get this piece of paper into my phone. Anyway, at this point, I lose it. I start crying hysterically. I broke a thing or two of mine. Then I go into the house and tell my girlfriend and 2 daughters to go outside. And I'm still crying, but completely cordial and non-violent. And I ask Cindy why the F she would do this and if he's the reason she skipped my baby shower. And surely enough, he was. She did indeed go over to Billy's house, her son, but also brought Jerry along to introduce him to her family, her sons and grandkids. That's why she skips my baby shower. I didn't even want gifts from her. I just wanted her there and to keep our relationship alive for my dad's sake. My dad didn't get to pass away with dignity. He lost himself to Parkinson's, and the last bit he had was his relationship, and he couldn't even get that. She, at the flip of a coin, and I'm assuming because she had been drinking, starts berating me. Get out of the house now. You're never welcome back here again. You have 30 days to get your things and never come back. Which, hold up, wait a minute. What is this? Are you even able to do that?
Yeah,
whose house
like
is
whose
this?
house does this belong to? Because it might be, you know.
I really want the Uno reverse card to hit her with that.
Yeah, it's like,
Be like,
well,
you have 30 days.
Actually, you have 30 days.
And then he comes back and he's like, actually, you have 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye.
Freaking.
Hopefully, Jerry's got a house
Yeah.
for you.
I hope Jerry uses that big, strong arms he used to dent our garage door to help you move all your crap out of the house. She was saying things like, if I had more of a say in your life, maybe you'd be more of a man, because I was crying. And she also dropped, he forgot how to F me a year ago.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you monster,
He
because he's got a
literally had
neurodegenerative
Parkinson's.
disease. You were with him for 20 plus years.
Oh my God.
You're a
To think, like, also just like
scoundrel.
the kind of audacity to be like, well, I'm not even gonna wait. It sounds even cruel to say this, but like to not even wait a year to see someone like rapidly decline and be like, well, I can't even wait like a couple months. I'm just gonna do it while they're like actively passing.
Yeah, while they're languishing.
Yeah. Like, how do you even have time for
What
that?
a
Like,
great lady.
you're not even there for your partner?
What a just shining example of, you know, a great senior citizen here. So he's been around for 20 years and you couldn't wait until he at least passed. She even had the nerve to tell me I couldn't get the rest of my father's ashes. She had the main urn, but I was going to bring a smaller one later on to be filled alongside my necklace. She effing has the nerve to tell me I can't get my dad's ashes. At this point, I just leave. I assume her responses were that way because she knows she's wrong, but she's always been too dang prideful to admit it. And by the way, I am not too prideful to admit you can listen to full episodes with stories just like these on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and there you have it. It's as easy as that. You can listen all the live long day.
So true.
We have a little bit more story left. I think we're all on the same page here.
I would say so.
Let's go.
Yeah.
A month has passed at this point, and I text her to discuss the day I'm picking my things up. I'll just attach those text messages in a link because I don't want to type it out, but you can see the altercation that we had there. She had the audacity to have Jerry text me off her phone, threatening me in response to my text asking her to leave me alone. No communication has been had since the incident that isn't in the texts provided, so am I the a-hole? Dang. No info on the house. No, you're not the a-hole.
No.
What do you mean, am I the a-hole?
You're not the one who was in a 40-year cheating relationship. That wasn't you.
I get it. I'm sure, OP, you already know that you're not the a-hole, right? You've just put this out on the internet and you're like, that's just a thing that people ask, right? Am I the a-hole here? But for God's sake, if you are thinking you're the a-hole, we got to learn to have faith in ourselves.
Yeah. And go to therapy.
You're in no way the a-hole here. She
It
just
doesn't
got mad because she's getting put on
Yeah.
blast.
You called her out for cheating and betraying your dad, and now she's upset with you. And that's not your problem.
Nor is it your fault.
No.
But anyway, yes, that is the end of that. Do we want to pull up that link that had like their text messages or whatever?
Yes. I would love
See if there's
to.
anything worth reading there.
Caitlin Von Compen says, I need the will to be read. Me too. I need to know what's going OP. Also, just like her withholding the ashes is just incredibly cruel.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. Why are you being possessive over my dad's ashes?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Maybear604 says TLDR, please. So super duper TLDR here. OP's father is passing away from Parkinson's and a lot of nasty stuff. And his stepmom, who has been with his dad for 20 years, is out cheating on him with this guy, Jerry, who turns out Jerry has actually been her little F buddy for 40 plus years, on and off, whenever she's not in a relationship, or I guess when she is in a relationship. And it ends with OP being told he needs to get all his stuff out of the house. And yeah, honestly, I hope it ends with a lawyer being like, actually, the house doesn't belong to you, Cindy, and you have to
You gotta leave. Let's read these.
All right. Who wants to be the green
It can be Cindy.
Okay.
Is that Cindy?
Oh, these are all the text
Okay.
messages.
I won't be able to make it tomorrow. Had plans with Billy. Talk to you later.
Oh, no. That's fine. If you change your mind, let me know.
I will, honey. Love you.
Now we are at March 8th, 6 days later.
Don't try to go in the barn. I will explain when you get here.
Also, just to answer your question from earlier, you told me, how do you think my kids took it when I got with your dad after Ralph? And to answer your question, the day my dad passed, did you not tell me that Ron and my dad got in a fight and you had to kick Ronnie out because he threw a computer at my dad? So obviously he didn't take it very well either. Last thing I want to say, I'll get a hold of you when I'm coming to grab my things and my dad's ashes.
Don't try to go in the barn. Oh, wait.
No, it's the same thing. Keep going.
Same one. Scroll.
March 22nd, I'll be over next week sometime to get my things. I will give Ashley an urn after that to collect my father's ashes.
Name a time and bring a sheriff, so be on time. Name the day, too, along with the time.
Oh, this is definitely right. This is definitely Jerry.
And stick to it, because I ain't gonna waste my time.
Saturday, 2 p.m.
Won't be home. Try Wednesday, 5.
My son is due Wednesday, so probably not.
Then make it Thursday, 5.
Well, may not be Thursday. I'll let you know. Emma has been in the hospital since Friday. We aren't looking to get out of here anytime soon. Okay, these are all, honestly, here, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, is there anything?
Keep going. Is there anything actually fun
It's
here?
just them. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. That was really boring.
That
was really absurdly boring.
Yeah, that was
I was waiting
But
for
you know-
Jerry to be like, I thought
Yeah.
Jerry was being like, yeah, why don't you come show up and bring the sheriff? I'm not going anywhere.
But funny things.
The last
Leave Cindy alone. You don't want to meet with me, you sissy.
Leave Cindy alone.
You sissy is crazy.
Oh wait, that is Joe.
You don't want to meet with me, you sissy.
Yeah, that's
That
Joe.
was 100% Jerry.
Oh, Jerry, whatever his name is. Fun things in there though, where Cindy going, come on Wednesday. He's saying my child is due, and she goes, well, Thursday then. As if the day after the birth of his child is gonna be a good day.
Yeah, just like still probably going to be dealing with that.
Yeah, still, baby's gotta be here. That and then
Oof, yeah, well, hey, you know what?
also the name, a time, and place. Bring a sheriff. Bring
the sheriff is wild.
Are you gonna burst into the saloon?
Well, I think
Have a
it's
shootout? What's going
probably
on?
Just more for the the logistics of like
I know, but
taking and leaving and owning stuff. That
absolutely, but it does sound with name, a time, and place.
Oh, it does. It definitely does sound like bring the sheriff because one of us is going to jail. The one that survives.
We're
Like,
having a little duel.
it's time
Name,
to
and time, and place.
you want duel.
Negotiate. Okay, but that was the end of that story, and not the end of the episode.
No, there's another
not the
one.
end of the
It's right
episode.
here, and I'm handing it to you right now.
Woo!
There we
Here you
go.
I found my father's secret messages. I told him to come clean. Secret message. Secret message. Perfect. Grown up, I've, female 27, always had this perfect family life. A happy mother and father and 3 kids. Both my parents worked very hard and we all had a loving, stable upbringing. By the way, this comes from other, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/showcase storytime subreddit. So, my father has always worked full time and done overtime to help us get by. When my siblings and I were kids, my mother worked part-time and my father was still learning English, so he was working lower paying jobs. This meant my mom took on all the domestic admin from the mortgage to the cars, finances, pensions, everything. My dad learned English properly, got a higher paying job, and me and my siblings grew up. My mom went back to working full time, but my dad never learned to do any of the admin stuff. That's annoying. He also never cooks, cleans, or does anything around the house without being asked multiple times. My mother is amazing and she has taken on the weight of the entire family herself. But as I've grown up, I've resented my dad more and more for not helping and supporting her with everything. For the past couple of months, I've been a little suspicious of my dad. It started when a colleague at work asked if he could give lifts to their daughter to work. He told us he's been giving them a lift, and it turns out it's a girl in her 20s. Let's call her Hannah. Uh-oh. My mom didn't like it and told him to think of what people would think if they saw him driving around with a young girl in his car. My parents are both in their 50s. They had a few arguments about this, and during this time, I snooped through my dad's work phone. I found Hannah, and it didn't seem hugely inappropriate apart from the fact that she was making him smoothies for breakfast. Guilty. What she put in those smoothies?
Those are illegal smoothies.
It probably put protein powder in those smoothies.
Oh.
Eventually, I think he stopped stopped giving her lifts because of what my mom said. I checked his phone a few times after that and found nothing. The last couple of weeks, I've been suspicious again because when going out for his daily walk at night, this is normal for him, he's been coming back in to get his work phone, saying he forgot it and needs to take it in case his personal phone runs out of battery. He's got 2 phones.
Ooh.
Suspicious. That was a red flag for me. I knew I had to check his phone again. OP is, you should just keep the phone at this point.
Right?
You're checking it so much. This weekend, I found his phone in the bathroom and I checked it. No messages from that girl, but there was a message from a woman. Let's call her Elena. The texts were definitely romantic and spicy related, but didn't indicate whether anything physical had happened or not.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Who's Elena?
Who is she?
I then saw he had been calling her late at night while on his walks during work hours and video calling. I was crushed. I knew what this was. I took photos of everything. I couldn't sleep that night and cried more than I have ever before. I'm still in shock now. I knew my mom needed to know, but didn't know how to approach anything. I needed to know if something physical had already happened. So I snooped again. I went into his recently deleted messages and found 2 conversations, one with Elena and one with Hannah. Turns out he's still giving her lifts to and from work. The messages seemed a little bit flirty and he was calling her pet names.
Ew.
No.
I don't want to see that.
No. Bad. But it wasn't anywhere near as bad as what I was about to read in Elena's conversation. All I will say is that it confirmed to me 100% that they have been seeing each other at least since August 2024 and that they have definitely had spicy sleep. It was absolutely horrible. I took photos of everything I found and after hours of panicking, trying to figure out what to do, I decided to confront him. He acted as if he had no idea at first. Then when I said Elena's name and quoted some of the messages he sent her, he knew this was real. He said, "Let's go for a drive so your mother doesn't get nervous." That's ominous.
That is scary.
It's like the drive that Christopher Walken takes John Turturro on in Severance.
Oh, yeah.
Irving,
Right.
and Bert.
Right.
Yeah.
Scary.
I was shaking so much, and as soon as we got in the car, I couldn't hold back. I shouted and screamed and cried and told him he's ruined everything. He kept saying they were just stupid messages. Nothing happened. I told him I'm not stupid and I know what those texts mean. And he just kept on denying having done anything more than send stupid texts that they were jokes. For the record, there is no way I have misinterpreted those texts. They're very clear. I told him he's not the person I thought he was, and I feel like everything has been a lie. I said I've lost all respect for him, and I could tell that really hurt him. In that moment, I didn't care at all. I wasn't even thinking. I was just saying everything that came out. I was recording on my phone the whole time, though, because I knew I'd forget it later out of anger and sadness. I told him he has to tell my mom everything. He said, "About the text?" And I said, "I don't know what the truth is. Just tell her the whole truth." He doesn't know I took photos of everything I found. He was very scared at this point, saying about how upset she's going to be and he has to think about our family. Oh, now you have to think about their family?
Yeah, you kind of already crossed that line, buddy.
Maybe you should have thought about your family before you cheated on your wife.
Maybe.
This made me even angrier. I told him he has one day to do it. Otherwise, I'm telling her. Oh, man. I spent the whole day at home yesterday waiting for him to tell her so I could be there afterward for my mom. He couldn't find the right time, he said. And I told him there would never be a right time to say something like this.
True.
He was quiet and daydreaming the whole day. My mom kept asking if he was okay and if he felt ill. I heard him say that he has a stomach ache and headache and just doesn't feel right. My poor mom made him herbal tea and took him upstairs so they could lie in bed and he could rest. Oh, no.
Like,
he doesn't deserve this woman.
This is the right time. I don't know what he was waiting for.
He's a coward. He's a coward.
He doesn't want to own up to his mistakes.
To be fair, he did look awful the whole day. I started feeling a bit guilty for being so hard on him, but then I reread the messages with Elena and all of my guilt was gone again. This was at 11 p.m. last night. I told him it was too late as my mom was going to bed, so I said he has to do it today after work, and if he doesn't, then I'm going to tell her. I just don't know if I really have been too hard on him or not. Who cares? He's a cheater.
Yep.
I've never dealt with anything like this before, so I have no idea what to do. I just did what was natural to me because I knew this had to stop and my mom had to know. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments and an update, but what say you?
I say no. Not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole at all.
Yeah. It's definitely like we've said, it's like if you're not hard on him like this, nothing's ever gonna come from it.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that you you said, hey, you need to tell mom, and he still hasn't done it. You might need to be a little harder on him.
Yeah, not hard enough.
Yeah, because clearly he's not scared enough
Yeah.
by your threats. So you need to either follow through and tell your mom, or say really needle into him.
Exactly.
Comment 1 says, not the a-hole, but get up early and tell your mom yourself tomorrow. You can't keep giving him chances and he will do nothing. He's blown away and tells her you told him to come clean, but he's refused. That you've discovered he's cheating with both Elena and Hannah, and that you have proof he's actually sleeping with Elena. That he keeps trying to lie and downplay it, but you've seen all his texts and the one he's deleted. That him being ill yesterday was him refusing to tell you and hoping I would betray you by keeping quiet. That it turns out he never stopped driving Hannah, and he's admitted it, but you've far more proof with Elena. And that he phones her on long walks every night and during work, and it's also when they possibly meet up to have spicy sleep at night. And then basically just tell him everything that's going on. OP responds, I've considered this before I confronted my dad, but a friend told me it should be his responsibility to tell her, not mine. It should be, but if he doesn't, unfortunately it does fall to you.
Right.
So I told him he has to do it. I did say last night that if he doesn't do it today, then I'm telling her. I do think you're right about not giving him chances. I hate that he's even had this long, honestly. The only reason I'm giving him another chance is because my siblings were going up and down the stairs yesterday, so there wasn't any privacy. It'll be the same today though, so I'm going to try and keep them upstairs while they're downstairs. Thank you so much for your reply. Comment 2, what is his plan? Is he going to keep seeing her? OP says, sorry, I forgot to mention, he told me yesterday that he deleted her contact and everything, and that when he goes back to work today, he was going to talk to her to say to never talk to him again. He said they started becoming friendly because they have the same first language, and she doesn't speak English very well, so he had to translate for her sometimes. He said he was stupid and joked around with her and someone else, but it was nothing more than that. So in his eyes, it started with needing to translate and escalated to other favors and jokes that got out of hand, but was never more than that. But we already know it was.
Yeah.
He's still lying.
Right. It's pretty safe to assume that something's happened when he's showing up at her place at night.
Yeah. And also, OP says the text kind of confirmed that they had a physical relationship. And the fact that he is still lying is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that hard for jokes to not get out of hand.
Yeah.
You know?
Just stop joking like that, man.
Exactly.
That's how they know each other and how he started to translate for her. And there is an update.
Oh boy.
Let's dive right into it
do it.
because I have the same advice.
Yeah, nothing's gonna change.
My dad called me around lunchtime and said he's really not doing good. He said he can't concentrate on anything and hasn't slept. I told him that's normal, and neither can I. I reiterated that it has to be today, and he said he's going to try and go out with her so it's away from my siblings. I said I can try to keep them upstairs and they can talk downstairs, or I can take them out somewhere. Probably take them out somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Given that there might be yelling.
Right.
I got home around 20 minutes ago. Dad's not home yet, but mom is, and she's had the worst day. She starts a new job tomorrow and bought a laptop for it on the weekend. The laptop hasn't been working, so she spent the whole day on the phone with customer service and will have to return it and pick a new one up tomorrow. She said she's so stressed and I'm so worried about what's to come. Update 2. It happened yesterday. Finally. I texted my dad saying mom was going out to return the laptop so he could go with her. The place was like 10 minutes away. My dad came home and they went out and took over an hour. I texted my mom to ask if everything was okay and she said yes. When they came home, they seemed okay. I hugged my mom and she cried. She said she's sad about the 3 messages my dad sent, but she'll get over them. She just wanted to see them and he's deleted them so she can't.
Yeah.
3?
3.
Is he lying?
Yeah.
Again? Is
Yeah.
he lying again?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he said that, he deleted the messages,
Yeah.
you could think that, or he could say that it's because he wants to end things, but part of it is so that he doesn't have to show her. for
Exactly. Exactly.
sure.
It's like, I don't want the proof.
Yep.
She said she just wanted to know if it had been more than messaging, although we promised it hadn't been. I told her I took photos of everything I found, so I would show her everything if she wanted to see it. She said yes. So I said to my dad, you told Mom the whole truth, didn't you? He said yes. I said, okay, because I took photos of everything and I'm going to show her now, so there'll be no surprises, will there? He said no. We went upstairs and my dad went out for a walk. The thing is, my dad didn't know I had taken photos of everything, and he doesn't know that deleted messages go to the recycle bin and stay for 30 days. So he has no idea I knew about all of those. First of all, I showed my mom the messages with Hannah that had been deleted. She was in shock. She said he's a liar and she couldn't understand why. I told her it doesn't seem like anything was going on with Hannah, but he was definitely being flirtatious and she was so angry. I also showed her a few one-off messages I found with other people from work. Oh my God. So not just Hannah, not just Elena, but like other people, multiple people at work.
Because he did say like he started talking to her and someone else about inappropriate jokes and stuff.
Then I showed her the first 3 messages with Elena. Those were the ones my dad had forgotten to delete. So I saw those first, and that's what made me keep digging to find everything else which had been deleted. That's all my dad thought I had seen, and that's all he had confessed to my mom. Just with those, she was already disgusted. Then I prepared her for what she was about to see. I checked multiple times that she definitely wanted to see everything, and I told her she wouldn't be able to unsee them after, but she was sure. When she saw the extent of the messages, she was so upset, angry, everything at once. I showed her the dates and times he was messaging her and how it's usually when he goes out for walks. I showed her the times he had called her and video called her, and she wanted to know when the first ever call or message was sent. I showed her August 2024 and told her I don't think that would have been the first thing, as it was a video call. She couldn't believe it. She kept saying, almost a year. He's been lying for almost a year.
Aww.
At this point, she knew everything I knew, and we heard my dad come home. He came upstairs, and my mom straight away confronted him and called him a liar and a cheat. Again, he denied it, and my mom took my phone out of my hand and showed it to him. His face didn't change, but he was staring at my mom. He was completely frozen and then said, it's not what it looks like. What does it look like?
I don't buy it.
What does it look like, buddy?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not what it looks like?
Right.
Then my mom read through the messages out loud, and he was just staring. He had tears in his eyes. My mom asked him when they had spicy sleep and where, and he kept saying they hadn't over and over again. Then my dad asked if they could speak alone, and I left. I went downstairs where my sisters were panicking because they had overheard parts of the fight and were very scared about what was going on. I didn't tell them because I said my mom has to say it. They were angry at me, but I told them I can't betray Mom. While I was downstairs, my dad told my mom everything. Later on, my mom told me that as my dad works with Elena, apparently they have opposing shifts, meaning that when he's at work, she's at home, and she lives very close to where they work.
Oh no.
Dang. He has been leaving work during the day to go to her house and have spicy sleep.
Oh.
This man stinks.
Yeah.
Just the extent of the betrayal is bottomless.
Yeah, and like he still lied more about like how it started then too, because how it started, honestly, like it sounded innocent at first with just the talking, and like that stuff, but obviously not innocent going into cheating. But if they have opposing shifts, how are they talking at work so much?
Exactly. She was absolutely devastated, and she said that she can say with 100% certainty that in almost 30 years they've been married, that she has never done anything inappropriate with another person. I feel so bad for my mom. The hardest thing is that my whole life, my mom has always said that the most important thing to her is the family unit and having everyone together. Her parents divorced when she was a teenager because of my grandfather's infidelity to my grandmother. No.
Stop it.
No. That's tragic.
Oh, man.
Tragic. And my mom has always said it was the worst thing that ever happened to her. She was never told the extent of the infidelity, and as a result of growing up without her father for most of her teenage years, and my grandmother refusing to ever speak badly of him to her children, she grew up idolizing him him, which all came crashing down when she became an adult and realized what he actually was like and how he treated my grandmother. This has been very traumatic for my mom, and she's never really gotten over it. And now she's got to relive that trauma with her own husband.
Yeah, because I mean, so many people like, excuse me, so many people like who have divorced parents are always scared that that's gonna happen to them, and so the fact that this is happening in the same exact way is like, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna get divorced yet, but like you can assume. Gosh.
At Christmas, she told me that because of everything that happened with her parents, she became obsessed with having the perfect family unit.
Aww.
And always craved it.
Aww.
She said that this craving is what has turned her into the woman that accepts anything her husband does, because the most important thing is that she keeps the family together.
Oh, wow.
I told her yesterday that this stuck in my mind, and since finding this out, I couldn't stop thinking about that. I told her that she needs to take time for herself and decide what she really wants, and that this is a completely valid reason to separate if she wants to. She said she needs to think. I asked my mom if I did the right thing by forcing my dad to tell her, and she said yes and thanked me for it. She said she's so glad she found out and that she knows the extent of it. She said it would have been much worse if she'd believed that it was just those 3 messages and then later found out it was more than that and she'd believed him. But you can believe us that we have full episodes of stories just like this if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Wow.
You gotta believe it.
Gotta believe it.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Man, oh man,
It's
wow. Heartbreaking. I mean, just having to relive this is crazy.
Yeah, probably her biggest fear coming true.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
Hopefully she doesn't just push through this to have the family unit, you know?
It seems like she kind of knows herself a little bit better now and is realizing, why she put up with behavior like this.
Right.
So hopefully she realizes, I shouldn't continue to put up with behavior like this.
Right,
And I should leave this relationship that clearly isn't working.
Exactly. And there's still ways to be a family. Like, it doesn't mean the whole family is broken up or anything, Like, obviously this is going to be a tough time and going to take a lot of time to, move on from. But you could still have a good family unit, just maybe not in the way you expected.
Yeah, just in a non-traditional sense.
Right.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Thank you everyone for your help and support with this. For my own sanity, it really helped me to hear other people's opinions while I was dealing with this. Basically on my own. Although it has been an absolutely horrible 48 hours, now that it's out in the open, it does feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I'm finally out of this personal heck I've been in. My poor mom and sisters are at the first stages of dealing with this, but now I can help them as much as possible because I'm a few days ahead of them in this process. Thank you, everyone. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Youch.
Yikes, dude.
I mean, good on OP again for kind of having to take all of this on and taking it on with a lot of grace and immediately making sure that their mother found out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good for not keeping the secret too.
Very good. Yeah, I think it's just about now. It's about, being there as a support system for your mom.
Right.
But also, making sure that you're kind to yourself because this also affected you.
Right.
This is your family and your dad who has betrayed not only your mom, but also you and your sibling.
Yeah. Tough, man.
Tough. But that is the end of that story. So we're going to jump into the next one.
Okay.
My father plans to reconcile with my cheating mother. I'm thinking about running away.
He shouldn't do that.
I am 17 male and had my worst birthday last week. Don't worry, buddy. There's plenty more. Context, my dad and egg donor divorced when I was 14. So yeah, this is going to be 3 years worth of details that happened. My egg donor cheated on my dad and had a year-long affair. Oh, we clearly don't like the mom. By the way, this comes from user Zealous Ideal Neck 2368. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. My dad found out and while separating explained to me what happened. I was already mature and having big conversations with my dad, like politics, so he didn't hide anything. Imagine the conversation was just red, good, blue, bad. Yeah, I was 14 having big boy conversations. I was and still am disgusted with my donor. Should we just call her Deborah? Egg donor will heretofore be known as Deborah. Swore that day that I would never call her mom. Even now, I either call her by her name or just say, hey, you, at the start of the conversation.
So funny.
moved in with her affair partner. Dad got the house, but unfortunately couldn't get full custody. I wasn't given a preference because while I was staying with my dad during the separation, I got into a fight at school. I have a bit of a temper issue. Deborah's lawyer used that incident to get joint custody until I turned 18. I was like, WTF in court. I think Deborah slept with the judge to get that ruling. My dad is a great human being, never raised his voice, and has always loved me so much. He occasionally says, I love you, son. Makes me cringe, but I accept it. My dad is a very loving person. He always says he has an ocean of love to give. He loved my mom so much. Whenever Deborah returned from work, my dad used to hug her, give her a kiss, and ask her how her day was. Yes, even when she was having a year-long affair. I don't know what kind of human she is to keep up that facade when your partner is loving you so much. Things became serious last month when I had a huge fight with my entire maternal side of the family. I was very close with my maternal grandparents, but I started distancing myself after the divorce. We visited my grandparents' house, and I was pissed that affair partner was present with Deborah, and the trip was for an entire weekend. I wasn't very keen on spending a weekend with them, but my dad convinced me it was going to be great, and boy, was he wrong. Past 2 years, my grandparents had asked me so many times to change my attitude towards Deborah, but I never cared. Things went crazy when they tried to have an intervention with me. Grandparents, Deborah, and affair partner were present. I was completely blindsided. All 4 of them were sitting opposite of me. They gave me the entire couch to sit by myself. It was like a therapy session. Egg donor and grandparents started their attack one by one while affair partner was silent. My temper took over and the a-hole version of me came out. I turned towards affair partner and said, hey, you, F off. This is between family. Honestly is fair. I don't think you should have the affair partner at whatever little intervention you're having to be like, you need to be okay with your mom existing.
It's like, shut up. You cheated with my mom.
Also, here's the person you arguably hate more than anyone on earth right now, the affair partner. Everyone was shocked at my tone. Deborah tried to end the intervention because she knew that what would happen when this side of me came out. My grandparents didn't budge. I'm their only grandson, and they didn't want to lose connection with me as I started distancing myself. Affair partner was ashamed and was leaving when I said other hurtful things. I said, she cheated on my dad with you. She'll cheat on you with someone else. Correct. So that caused more damage. He couldn't say a word, and then I hit the final blow. I hope your son also gets cheated on by his future wife so he can know what kind of an a-hole his father is. That hit him hard. He was angry and went out storming. And I will forgive that because you are between 14 and 16
Somewhere
in this moment.
between 14 and 17.
Which, yeah, it's very
Still a
black
child.
and white. And look, I'm not going to sit here and be like infidelity is okay or not bad. But it's like there's not usually always a black and white. There's a lot of gray stuff in the middle once you get into adult land, like why people do things. It's like, is his mom like an irredeemable monster for like being infidelitous? No, most likely no. Does it absolve her of like any responsibility or guilt coming from OP right now? Also no. But it's like, this is just a very emotionally charged teenager dealing with the implosion of his own family. Bro wanted to follow affair partner out the door, but I didn't let her go. I asked her to sit so once and for all we could finish this. Deborah started crying, saying, how can her only son treat her this way? Well, Deborah, you should understand that you have upset him. Grandparents were disappointed in me. Turned towards my mom and started unloading everything. I explained how much I loved her, how much dad loved her, and how she betrayed us. I brought out the instances when I used to sleep next to my mom after watching movies when I was 13, and said how she was my safe space, how much I cared for her, and everything. I hit her hard with just imagine how much you've ruined everything, that so much love turned to hatred.
And the thing is, I don't think OP does like fully hate his mom. I think that when you care about someone so much and they betray you, so angry because you love them so much and that love is not gone. Just so confusing. And you're like, like you've made me so angry. And there's so much emotion in here because you were so important to me. He just like doesn't have the words.
Has zero experience.
And he needs therapy. Big time.
She couldn't control her sobbing after that. Even my grandparents started to cry. It was hard seeing my grandfather cry, but what can you do when you raise? Deborah started to shift blame towards my dad, saying he had poisoned me. Classic victim card move. The thing is, my dad, after the divorce, attended therapy sessions to get his life back on track. The last step of that therapy was to make a video about your feelings. My dad made a video about how he forgave Deborah and wished her a great life. He was supposed to send this video to Deborah but couldn't, so he sent it to me. I played the 2-year-old video and everyone just sat silently, no shocking reaction, no nothing, because they knew how great of a person my dad was. Deborah couldn't control her emotions. I even doubled down by saying, me and Dad loved you so much that we were ready to take a bullet for you, but now even if you pass away tomorrow, I will not be visiting your funeral. That's probably a little too far though. I'm not going to make anybody feel better. Not even you, OP.
It's just like this is a kid who needs therapy so badly with all of that pain and stuff that he's going through.
I turned towards my grandparents and started shouting at them, asking how they could raise their daughter to be a cheater. I so wanted to use the W word, but controlled myself. I also said that now I can't trust girls in my school and am scared to get a girlfriend. Buddy, that was going to happen either way. Don't worry about that.
You gotta fix that now before OP gets this like very unhealthy view of women, because very worrisome if that OP is saying this.
100%. Both my grandparents and Deborah didn't say anything. Couldn't stand there anymore and called my dad to pick me up. My grandparents apologized to my dad when he came to pick me up for how he was treated during the divorce. My dad knew something was up but didn't say anything. Deborah and a fair partner had gone out for a walk. I forgot to mention my dad started dating again and had met an amazing woman. She is also a divorcee with no kids. She treats my dad amazingly and he deserves someone amazing. All of that huge fight in my grandparents' house led to what happened last week on my birthday. Oh, this was all a prelude. This wasn't even the story. Deborah came to my birthday without the affair partner, which was shocking, but I didn't care. After the party, both Deborah and my dad were having a conversation on the balcony, and I could hear everything. It was shocking to know that Dad and Deborah were in contact for a week before, where she begged my dad for forgiveness, and my dad forgave her. On the balcony, she was asking if they could reconcile and start a new chapter. I was shocked to hear that, as was my dad. She said she broke up with a fair partner because she realized she's still in love with Dad. What a load of bullcrap.
Oh, ouch.
This is where you go, Deborah, I forgave you, but I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
There's
You
a
say, Deborah,
difference.
we've moved on.
I wish no ill upon you. However, I don't wish to have you back.
I don't love you. You may love me. Can't say the same about you.
Don't worry, Deb, you'll make it through. So, they had realized I heard everything and came into the living room so all three of us could discuss this. What was shocking was that my dad was actually considering saying we could again become a family.
Dating someone, no? You literally dating someone?
I shouted at him and asked him to recall how much Deborah betrayed us, how he had to go to therapy to get his life back on track. Dad was stuck in between. I tried everything to convince Dad, recalling how great our family was and that we could go back to that. I was having none of it and asked Egg Donor to leave. Dad asked me to speak respectfully to her. As I said, he is a great human. I even mentioned how affair partner and Deborah were together for years but didn't get married. She said it was their choice. I couldn't take it anymore and went brutal on my dad. Teenager, anger problems. He said, when you were hugging and kissing your wife as soon as she came home, asking her how her day went, she was somewhere moaning to some other guy's strokes. You did not say that. Kimberly, fine. They literally stole your line. Literally, I saw it in there at some point. She's talking about back shots of words for the son and the dad.
Yeah.
Dad, talk to your therapist about this before you make any decisions.
Please stop putting your son in the middle of this.
It's not a time for this to be talked out.
No.
With your son.
No,
who
don't be like, I'm
hates
thinking about
Deborah.
getting back with your mom. Like, no. Stop having
Nuh-uh.
that conversation with your son.
That was a huge whiff. OP needs therapy.
Therapy.
Which is, again, the dad's responsibility. Dad's really dropping the ball on, like, what does OP actually need to thrive
I
here?
agree. Like, OP's like, oh, Dad's such a great person. It's like, okay, but he's not taking into consideration what you need as a child.
Yeah. Where's your therapy? He got his therapy. Where's yours? That hit my dad hard. He looked at me in shock. I imagine that's a shocking thing to hear come out of the mouth of your child.
Yeah.
Also said, if they get back together, I will run away and never contact you. Say a word and just left to take a walk. I knew then and there I said something horrible. Deborah also left without saying anything. I called my dad. He did not pick up the first time, but when he did, I apologized and asked why he would ever consider taking her back. I said he has an amazing girlfriend right now, and this was something my dad didn't know. He thought I hated his girlfriend like I hated the affair partner. But as soon as I said that, he asked me to say the truth, whether I really like his girlfriend and wouldn't object if she became part of our family. I happily said yes, and that I wouldn't hesitate to call her mom. That's also therapy time.
I don't know. It feels like OP's like sting the situation to get with. Like, I don't think you would. Do you actually see her as your mom, or are you just saying that so that your dad won't get back together with your bio?
Well, I think OP has made the decision that his mom is dead to him.
Yeah.
And that now they're like, well, if you marry your girlfriend, then I can have a mom again. I can make her mom. But it's like, you can't.
Therapy.
Which is not something you can understand as a teenager, maybe inherently, unless you're like one of those, I feel like Millie Bobby Brown was a great example of just like a genius, emotionally genius kid. Well, because she played Stranger Things. A lot of times kids can't get emotion.
Well, I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, this is clearly one of those cases where it's like, it's not happening. Oh, I want to call her mom. Dad was very happy to hear that, which again, Dad should have immediately been like, you need therapy if you're thinking that. When Deborah got around to knowing this, she got angry and asked how I could choose someone else over her. I said, I will pick even the devil over you. She said, I was heartless, and what I said and did was very hurtful. She was right about that.
Like, it's just big old therapy chant. No advice for you other than therapy.
My dad asked me to go to therapy and get my temper under control as well as my mouth, and I am considering it. Grandparents called and said it's time to forgive Deborah like my dad did. I said no. Said what I said and did on my birthday was wrong. So am I the a-hole for saying to my father I will run away if he reconciles with my cheating mother?
I don't think the a-hole. I just think that you are very emotionally confused. Need a lot of help.
No one's the a-hole here except
the mom for cheating.
The mom.
I think your grandparents for saying that you have to forgive your mom. I don't think that anyone can rush your forgiveness or demand it. Your dad for not getting you into therapy sooner. I think there's just like a lot of mistakes being made.
Just a lack of therapy. I'd be like, if you're calling your mom the devil, we'll just end your.
I guess you can.
The anger issues. It's like, I'm concerned. I'm like genuinely concerned about you. Hi guys, it's been 2 weeks since my original post, and I have come bearing an update. First things first, I read all your comments under my post. Man, people on Reddit love supporting cheaters. First, I'll answer a few doubts. For those who are saying my dad alienated me against Deborah, you need to know one thing. When Dad got out of the house, she moved in with a fair partner, so I got to know at that time only that she cheated. My dad never said so. I was 14 when they separated, meaning I already knew what cheating meant. Coming to some good news, as you guys and my dad suggested, I started therapy. Yay! It's been great. Granted, only 2 sessions have happened, but still, it's great. There is a lot of anger and hatred that I have to deal with, and it's going to take some time getting over it. Now, coming to the update. I got a drunk call from the affair partner last week, and man, he revealed a lot. Affair partner didn't even know that he was a fair partner. Which
Why is he calling you?
Exactly. I don't know if I would trust a single word that comes out of the drunk affair partner calling you. Yeah, you guys heard that right. Egg donor, aka Deborah, while cheating, said that Dad and her were separated and were sleeping in separate rooms, and also said that they were together now for my sake. And as soon as I joined high school, they were going to get divorced. I was shocked out of my mind as none of those were true. Dad and her always had date nights and had also gone on a trip, just the two of them, in that 1 year she was cheating. Her partner said he didn't know about any of that and thought he was in a legitimate relationship until I spilled everything at my grandparents' house. I find that very, very hard to believe. He said the comment about his son was a real kick in the pants, and that's when he decided to break up with Deborah. He said, have a good life, and cut the call. Man, I feel bad for a fair partner. He didn't know he was in a cheating relationship. Now this all makes sense. Remember when I said F off to a fair partner in my grandparents' house? Egg donor tried to stop the intervention, but I cut her off and spilled everything. Even my grandparents know the entire truth. Everybody was being
duped.
lied, like even her parents. That's why I was like, how are we going to, really? I then confronted my mom about all of this. My egg donor was first angry that fair partner drunk called me, and I guess she is still a mother. Then she came clean and started crying, saying that she still loved Dad, but this was like an adrenaline rush kind of thing, and she just made a mistake. I just cut the call as I couldn't hear any more excuses. She said one thing that I shouldn't tell my dad as he is happy now, and she doesn't want to disturb his happiness. What? He already knows. Because, by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories that are a little more easy to believe than this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. You've got the full archive there. And you can listen to every single story and tell us all which ones you think are not real. And you'll just have to listen to every single story. That's going to take you 54 days in a row.
And you can make a little tally and say, this is not real.
Even I think I shouldn't say anything to my dad, especially about a fair partner drunk dialing me, because I know for sure dad is going to ruin his life. For those wondering, my dad is rich and his lawyers are sharks. Get this, my parents never signed a prenup, yet Deborah did not get anything in the divorce except for custody. My dad has connections, so I don't know what he will do to a fair partner. I'm thinking of going no contact with mom after I turn 18 and go to college. It's because I loved her for 14 years, and going no contact is a scary thought. So guys, what should I do? Should I go no contact? You know what? I think before you make any of those decisions, you should just keep going to therapy.
Keep going to therapy.
And that is where you're not going to find out whether you should go no contact with your mom
until you go
on
to therapy.
Reddit.
Nope.
You're going to find out whether you contact with your mom in therapy.
But that's the end of that story. All right, let's do it. I caught my best friend having an affair. I want to expose her.
I cast spell of exposure.
My best friend Addison, fictitious name, was recently engaged to her partner Shane. Addison met Shane in early 2022 through her older brother, and the two hit it off pretty quickly. Not even 6 months later, Addison was pregnant. They hit it off real quick.
Yeah, they got after it.
By the way, this comes from Artsy Foxy, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, following her pregnancy, Addison moved in with Shane. Shane is a solid guy. He's hardworking, goal-oriented, trustworthy, and faithful. He has always treated my best friend better than any man in her past. I had never witnessed any man other than Shane who made my best friend smile so much. The moment Shane found out Addison was pregnant, he didn't run off like a lot of men do. Instead, he offered her a place in his home and vowed to take care of her and the baby. Fast forward to November 2024, Shane and Addison are now engaged. Their baby is now 1.5 years old. Shane is still working full-time while Addison works part-time. Addison had been working at her same place of employment for a year before she got pregnant. Following her maternity leave, she would ultimately return to the same job. Here is where she met her coworker, Jessie. Jessie's girl.
Jessie's got a girl.
Addison worked with Jessie both before and after her maternity leave, but she had only told me about him recently. Put some ICUs in the chat if you know where this is going. Addison described Jessie as being very egotistical, arrogant, and just downright weird. This is an enemies to lover arc.
Is it, or is this just a lie? Like, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
She told me that Jessie would make advances on her at work, constantly call her, text her, and leave her voicemails. Jessie is fully aware of Addison's engagement to Shane, but doesn't care. I've seen it for myself, as he would often call her and text her while she's around me. But the weird thing is, Addison never blocked him.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
It's almost like she's trying to tell a story of like, oh my God, yeah, that Jesse guy. Oh, he's so annoying and I don't like him and he's like always bothering me and it's like, he won't leave me alone. Please never stop leaving me alone, Jesse.
No, I know people who do this where it's like, they'll like complain about a person who's texting them a bunch and I'm like, block them. And they're like,
you go,
that's mean.
No.
Can't do it.
No.
Can't do it. But it is different. And this is also, I'm calling myself out. But this is different because she's in a relationship.
Jesse, we have to cook.
And it has a child because there's maternity leave in there.
Yeah.
So
that's different, but there's more. She would often text him back like nothing and even answer his calls. I would hear him make advances toward her, and instead of telling him to stop, she would just laugh and brush it off. You would think that an engaged woman with a baby would completely shut something like that down. Afterward, Addison complained about his behavior towards her. But I confronted her and told her that she is only further encouraging his behavior by answering his calls and texting him back. I asked her why she hadn't blocked him and cut contact like a normal person would. Her excuse was that she needed to stay in contact with him for work. That didn't make any sense, and I called BS. None of the conversations I heard them having were about work in any way whatsoever. I found it odd, but I didn't feel like arguing with her, so I just dropped it. However, what happened a few days later, I could not brush off. I was spending the night at Addison and Shane's place. Shane was working overnight, so Addison and I arranged a girls' night at the house. The night went on normally until Addison left to give her daughter a bath, and I stayed in the living room. I hadn't even noticed Addison's phone was next to me until it rang. Of course, it was Jessie calling. I declined the call and was going to brush it off until I noticed her phone was unlocked, and the text conversation with Jessie was open.
We're snooping, huh? We're getting snoopy.
What? I'm sorry, it was just on with the text open, or was it like on and you were like, well, messages?
I love Snoopy.
I didn't want to, but something in my gut told me to snoop, and so I did. Opie was like,
you wanted to.
Opie's like, I didn't want to, but I did.
Yes, I
did it anyway.
I did want to, and I did it.
And what I saw nearly made me vomit. Dozens of flirty text messages, nude photos, and videos exchanged between Addison and Jessie. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that my best friend of 10 years would be so soulless to even do something like this. Shane has been nothing but a faithful partner and father. He is present and works hard to take care of their family. When Addison was pregnant and had nowhere to go, he took her in. After all the toxic men Addison dealt with in her life, she was finally blessed with a good man, and she decided to throw it all away. I felt a mixture of sadness, shock, and rage. My instincts punted in, and I immediately took my phone and quickly recorded me scrolling through the messages. It wasn't all of them, of course, but enough for proof. I wasn't going to hide this or act like I didn't see anything. Instead of beating around the bush and acting oblivious, I decided to confront her head on. As soon as Addison came back into the living room and sat on the couch, I told her everything. I told her that she had left her phone unlocked with her and Jessie's text convo out and open for me to see. I told Addison that I had been suspicious of her and Jessie's dynamic, and that I found it odd that she continued to stay in contact with him despite all the complaints on his behavior. As I'm grilling into her, Addison sat in silence and in shock. After I finished speaking, the first thing she muttered was, "I'm sorry." Addison struggled to get her words out as I demanded her to explain herself. She confessed that she's been having an on and off affair with Jessie for 6 months. Addison tried to victimize herself by saying that Jessie had seduced her, and even when she tried to end things, he wouldn't leave her alone. I didn't buy her sob story telling her that Jessie wasn't holding a pew-pew to her head and forcing her to have an affair. She had the full ability to cut him off entirely, block him, and even file a restraining order if she had to. Addison knew exactly what she was doing and tried to play victim when she was caught in the act.
Honestly, that is one of the most pathetic things I think you can do.
Oh, yeah. To be like, oh, he kept pushing and pushing.
It's like, I didn't want to cheat on my husband, but this guy was talking to me.
You didn't want to cheat on your husband in the same way that Opie didn't want to snoop on your phone.
You did.
You both did. And you both did it. I told her that she wasn't the victim and that the real victim is her fiancé. It was at this moment when Addison's face grew white. And I kid you not, this woman got on her knees and begged for me not to tell Shane. She went on about how Shane treated her like a queen, taking care of her and their child. She didn't want to lose what she had wanted for so long over one mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was months of mistakes.
Over one mistake.
One
that
mistake.
lasted for months.
Months.
And however many text messages and photographs we sent between each other.
Yeah, that's not one mistake. I told her she should have thought about that before she decided to cheat with Jessie.
She's like, if I had never gotten this job, I got the wrong job and I met Jessie there.
Yeah.
Please let me find it.
It was a mistake to go into this career.
Now I know I should have just been unemployed.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Like I said, I was not going to hide this. It goes against my moral code to hide something like this from someone, especially Shane. I don't care who you are. If you're doing wrong, I'm going to make sure you face the consequences. So I gave Addison an ultimatum. She was going to confess everything to Shane the next morning when he got home, or I would. She obliged and promised me she would tell him. Due to the severity of the situation, I decided to pack my things and go home for the night. The next morning, I woke up to 10 missed calls from Addison. She texted me saying she had told Shane everything and he had left the house in a complete rage. I called her back and she basically repeated the same. She tried calling him several times and said she was scared of what he would do when he got back. I didn't say much other than it would be best for her not to contact him. At the end of the day, she made this bed and now she has to lay in it. After we hung up, I decided to call Shane because a part of me did not believe her. Shane answered immediately. I told him I was aware of what happened and that if he needed anything, I was here for him. Shane sounded confused and asked, "What are you talking about?"
How dumb is this friend to be like, okay, I got caught. She said, tell your husband tomorrow, I will. So
Maybe I'll just make him seem really dangerous and she won't ask him.
Yeah, I'll just lie again about it. And I'll allude that he's become an enraged Tarzan man.
I told him that I knew Addison confessed everything and that he had to leave the house to calm down. Shane responded, "What are you talking about? Addison confessed to what? I just left to go get us breakfast." I paused. Just as I suspected, Addison never told him anything. Better yet, she lied to me and said that she did. I'm a woman of my word, and I did just as I told her I would do. I told him everything. I told him about the affair, about her confession. I also told him about her lying to me about confessing to him. I sent him the scrolling video of the messages between her and Jesse. Ooh, you are slamming this man.
I hope you freaking told Shane, hey, sit down and make sure you're not driving.
This man hasn't even eaten breakfast yet.
Yeah.
Let him have a morning coffee.
Holy crap.
I'd be like, hey, I have a lot of stuff to tell you. Are you in a space where you can, handle all this? Shane didn't say a word while I was speaking. Once I was done, there was a long pause. Shane struggled to speak, but he eventually stuttered, "Okay, go." And he abruptly hung up. I didn't hear from Addison or Shane for about a week. I mean, honestly, your friendship with both of them is probably kind of over.
Yeah, Shane's going to be like, well, don't want to talk to the person who gave me the worst news I've ever received in my life. And I also don't want to see the person who's responsible for committing that news against me.
I decided to call Shane to check on him. He answered and graciously thanked me for revealing to him what I saw. He told me that he confronted Addison after he returned home that morning and she confessed everything. However, it was revealed that Addison had been sleeping around with Jesse for their entire relationship and not 6 months like she initially said.
Well, it looks like someone's an overachiever when it comes to being a homewrecker.
Yeah, it sounds like all of those things about how awful Jesse were lies.
I immediately clocked that right off the bat. We're just like, oh, this guy is so annoying.
The worst.
And it's like, if he was that annoying, he wouldn't be calling you. He wouldn't be texting you because you would have blocked him.
You would have blocked him already.
Oof. Yeah. She started wrecking the home before the home was even built.
Yeah, the home was just,
the foundation was built on loose sand and gravel.
You had a couple scaffolds up. That's it.
Yeah, now you get ready to live in tent town.
Shane said he left Addison at his house with her daughter and booked an extended stay at a nearby hotel. Because Addison was sleeping around longer than anticipated, Shane wanted a paternity test. 3 weeks passed and I hear nothing of Addison, just occasional updates from Shane. He would drop in and out of their house to check on their daughter, but that was it. Fast forward to a few days before Christmas, Shane called me. He was crying hysterically, barely able to get a single word out. I don't think the child is. I tried to calm him down, and he eventually did. He told me he did a paternity test. Turns out he was not the father to their child. Devastating. Raising this child 1.5 years. Devastating. Wow.
What's the line from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Not your daddy. No, I'm not your father, but
I ain't your father, but I am your daddy.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
But that's like such a tricky time period because, like, does he have, well, hopefully if he was written on the birth certificate, he'd have some sort of parental rights. I feel like that's, he might not decide he wants to be the parent to this child, but like still 1.5 years is a long time to have, connection to a child to then just sever it. So I don't know what he would decide to do.
Yeah, that's rocking a hard place right there.
My heart shattered. I didn't know what to say. I sat in silence as I listened to Shane cry his eyes out. I felt so much rage and disgust in my body, so much that I wanted to hang up on Shane, call Addison, and curse her out. But I didn't. Instead, I stayed on the phone with Shane and comforted him as he vented on about his heartbreak. Meanwhile, still not a word from Addison. Christmas and New Year's passed by. It is now January 2025. I haven't heard from Shane in a few weeks, but I finally spoke to Addison. She updated me on everything. Shane punted her out of his house, and she is now staying at a low-end motel with her daughter. Jesse was revealed to be the father of her child, but upon finding out the news, he cut her off entirely.
Shocked.
Oh, no. The
guy who you were cheating with isn't as amazing as Shane?
Jesse ain't husband material?
She has no relationship with her parents and doesn't know any friends that would be willing to take her in. She vented about how much she missed Shane and the life he granted her.
Oh, boo-hoo, that sucks.
Oh, too little, too late. Too little, too late.
You're just a goblin.
Yeah.
You're just a covetous little goblin.
She said her life is miserable now and she would do anything to have Shane back. I told her that despite everything, I still love and care for her. But at the end of the day, this was nobody's fault but hers. And that now she had to live with her consequences.
She said, I'd do anything.
Anything.
Except not doing Jesse.
Yeah. Like, oh, I wish that my life hadn't turned out this way.
If only there was something that could have been done.
If only there was a way to stop myself from cheating with Jesse, but it was inevitable.
Unfortunately, I was handed
The
an
man's
unfair
too
deck
hot.
with unfair cards, and I only had one hand to play, and it was cheat on my husband the
It was
entire
cheat.
time we've been together.
Yeah, it was
with
cheat.
another man.
And then make him take care of a child that wasn't his without his knowledge.
Which again, not my fault.
Not my fault.
Not my fault.
Couldn't possibly be.
Not my fault, and I leave it at that.
The last thing I remember Addison telling me was how she was going to handle issues regarding Jesse and child support. Without any further details, we said our goodbyes, and that was that. I haven't heard from her since. I've avoided contact with her since our last conversation. Although I do care for her, I can't bring myself to be friends with someone who would do something so low. Am I the a-hole for revealing everything? A part of me feels bad for her, but at the same time, it would have gone against everything I stand for to keep something like that from Shane. Some might say I was an evil person to reveal the affair, but it would have been even more evil for me to allow her to continue cheating on her faithful partner. Oh, that's the end. But you should never cheat on us, because we have so many full episodes of stories just like this that you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime. You never have to listen to any other podcast.
And then you won't cheat on us.
Don't cheat on us. But that's the end of the story. OP, you are not the a-hole for... I mean, you gave her the option to tell him herself, and she chose to lie to you and him. So, not the a-hole. But that is the end of that story.
Was the end? That was a weird place for it to end.
Well, the end was... Yeah, part of me feels bad for her, but at the same time, it would have gone against everything I stand for to keep something like that from Shane.
It is a tough spot because it's like you become indirectly like a catalyst for like now the kids living in a motel with their mom, who's like, it sounds like inept. That the mom is like, oh, boo-hoo, I wish I could still have my successful, wealthy husband because of the life he gave me.
Cares for me and my
Garbage.
daughter. Yeah.
Like
Garbage
you
trash.
are the messenger.
But the thing is,
not the perpetrator.
it would have happened sooner or later.
Yeah,
it would have happened.
And
I mean,
it sucks, but it's better to happen now rather than later, especially.
Also,
yeah.
I mean, the fact that she left her text conversation open and unlocked in front of you, like it was only a matter of time before she did that in front of.
The audacity that she had of doing that, and then also calling you and trying to be like, yeah, I talked to him and he like left and I'm scared, and then just hoping that like you'll never speak about it.
You'll never
ever again.
ask or never
and they
follow
stay
up
together,
on that.
and she just goes, oh yeah, he
got
me.
over it. Don't ask him about it, but he got over it. Don't worry.
Jambalaya says living in a motel is better than living in a lie.
It's true.
But I meant that more for the kid. I don't care at all that the wife is at the hotel.
I mean, it seems like Shane is going like hands off in terms of parenting, which makes sense, but it is also
it's not your kid.
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode.
So if you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you and
see you
tomorrow.